and welcome to Saturday Night Live with Lady D. I am Lady D, and I'm so happy to be on the screen with my new soul brother, Joe from TruthStream. Now, Scott's going to be joining us in a few minutes. He's on his way. However, while we have Joe here, my new soul brother, before you start talking, I just want to say how it was destiny that we met. And what did we know when we started talking about Bono on Instagram, what it would lead to? Ever since I have met you, my life has opened up in so many wonderful things. You've introduced me to Jordan Clark, and because of Jordan Clark, I got the attention of Ron Swanson, who is the co-host on the Sean Atwood channel. And he watched me last Saturday, a week ago, and was so impressed that I was on the Sean Atwood channel 3 days ago. And tonight I read with Beverly Rhodes live on the Sean Atwood channel on her Psychic Live. So I just want to say, meeting you has been like such a blessing. You are like a long lost soul brother. I love you already. So I want to tonight talk to you about, since you're always being the interviewer, I wanted to actually I want you to be the interviewee. So I want you to tell us about your backstory, how you got the idea for TruthStream, and how you and Scott met. So I'm just going to give you the microphone and let you take away. And then when Scott comes, I'll bring him on.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's really been cool to see what's happened to your channel with in the last few weeks. And you talked to us about doing some tarot readings on the show, and we're open to it. But then in the meantime, and we could still do that maybe later tonight. But in the meantime, then you told me about this Sean Atwood channel, and I hadn't, the only Atwood I know till now, learning about Sean, is Mark Atwood. And Mark
Mm-hmm.
Atwood is a dear friend of ours, and he runs a retreat center in Ireland. So when you first said Sean Atwood, I was like, well, I think she might mean Mark, but I don't know. Let me see who this is. And then I saw the channel. I was like, holy shnikes, this is great. So yeah, so I'm here. Scott's driving. We don't have all the bells and whistles for our setup right now, and sometimes I'll mute it because there's sirens or dogs or whatever. But yeah, so let's see, where should we start? So TruthStream itself was actually Scott's concept, because we both have Airstreams. In fact, there's Scott's underneath right there. You can kind of see it.
Mm-hmm.
So um, he had this idea to do a show.
Sorry, I wanted to get you on screen.
Oh, that's cool. So yeah, Scott had this idea to do TruthStream, and because I'd already started interviewing people in the Northwest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had worked with Nicholas Vignon, getting him a lot of guests on his shows in like 2020, 2021. And it was, I had interviewed a gentleman named Robert LeMay, who was a police officer up in the Northwest. And he said some things about human trafficking that, that are true. But when he passed away about 6 weeks after the interview I did with him, it seemed very suspicious. And I kind of freaked out because I didn't know if some of the things that he said led to his demise. And I'll never know that, but it seemed very suspicious because there was the COVID thing that happened, and then there was remdesivir, and he ended up in the hospital, and it just seemed very, very shady. So I kind of freaked out and really didn't want to do anything with shows for a little while. And finally, enough time went past and I felt safe enough that in the summer of 2022, Scott and I started TruthStream, and the first episode or two was out at our friend Newell's property, out in the Sumner area of Washington. And ever since then, we met Louis Herms and a bunch of truthers, and it's just kind of unfolded naturally, as far as the start of TruthStream itself. But go ahead. What was the other question? How my awakening, or where did you want to go next, Lady D, with that?
Yeah, well, I wanted to kind of figure out, like, we figured out why you started TruthStream. I wanted to figure out how the situation, like how you met with like Scott and how you both decided to do this, and what is it that basically is your biggest goal with TruthStream? I mean, you've started such a phenomenal community, and you've built I mean, you bring so many different walks of life. So, what's your main goal in TruthStream? And do you think you're on your way there? Because I think that you're in stock for some amazing things, to tell you the truth.
The goal has always been to be connectors and help with a sense of
Mm-hmm.
community. Um, Scott's been very awake for a long time about a lot of the issues that we've heard about in the truth community. And Scott and I met in the art scene and the bartending scene. Scott's done a lot of painting, um,
Mm-hmm.
and we've done filmmaking together. I've acted in a lot of the commercials that he and his friend Ian used to make, and that's kind of how their creativity part started with Scott and I. But as far as the awakening and this subject matter, it was kind of around. It was a little before the whole pandemic, if you will. And
Mm-hmm.
Scott had mentioned to me that the world that I think I live in and the world that I actually live in are two different things. And he started cluing me into things about U2 and who Bono was hanging out with, and it was very fracturing for me to deal with that because I mean I it was easy to start seeing once I started learning about who those people were and what they were up to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it still didn't make it very easy because I just thought U2 was the most amazing thing that's ever happened in rock music. Four kids in Ireland get together and take over the world and get to see the world by making great music. But so it was very, very gutting when I started learning like who Bono was hanging out with and then trying to piece these pieces of the puzzle together as far as is this really Bono anymore? What's going on here? It's like there's something has shifted. And it wasn't until meeting you and learning about some of these pieces, because I've been trying to figure out like if he was replaced, who's writing the music, what's the agenda? They it seems like there's this communal component to what they're doing, but it's also like this agenda driven, like seeing Bono in Fauci's documentary, like it's like something's not adding up here.
He was in Sloan Bono was in Fauci's documentary.
Yeah, yeah, in the trailer.
Oh,
Yeah, or
oh,
or Clono as we like to call him at this point.
yeah, he's Clono. I love
Right.
that. You and Scott made that up. Clono. He's Clono. And you know what? The whole Bono clone thing, and that would really hit me into the because I was always spiritual too, but it wasn't until I started to wake up and then again who Bono was hanging out with, and I was like, whoa, he's hanging out with the Clintons. So the same thing. That whole clono was really what trajected me into the awakening because same thing. I thought U2 was the best thing since sliced bread, but then it's like he's hanging out with the Clintons, he's hanging out with the Obamas. What is he doing in Africa? All these things. So I'm on the same path, brother. Take it away. Keep going. Didn't
Yeah.
mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. It's good just to kind of see where we're at in the conversations for people to kind of see our awakening moments. And that was really the thing because you
Hmm.
are really, they say the five people that you hang out with the most, I mean they're going to have
Hmm.
an influence on you. So yeah, so anyway, through Scott letting me know that the world isn't what I think it is, it just really, I walked out, that day. I've never really been the same since. And I'm just like, what does he mean? And then, shortly thereafter, the pandemic started, and I had a lot of friends that were more on the, I guess the Bernie Sanders side of things. And they didn't know what to do with me when I started speaking out. Because when I learned about the human trafficking of Native American women, that was a big um, thing for me. And I'm like, well, that's really convenient. Thank you, sir.
You're quite welcome, sir. Hi, everybody.
Scott has joined the party.
I'll be right back.
Thank you. And a drink. So
One.
here you so let's see, where was I with this? So yeah, I was trying to just kind of piece things together. And when I started learning about the human trafficking, it's like, wait a second. So these Native American women, no one is helping them that's either on the reservation because now they're off the reservation, or if they're now that they're not on the reservation and they were from the reservation, then the typical, county police don't do anything. And then it was more, hearing about the children and everything else. And for me, my dad was a pharmacist in the Tacoma, Washington area. And
Oh,
I just figured, everybody loved my dad. So I'm just going to talk about this stuff, and people are going to start learning about this, and we're going to figure out how to get this information out there. And boy, it was met with, and Scott warned me about that. Like, you can't just go on Facebook and start saying this stuff.
Well, because I'd already done it.
He's already done it.
It definitely already done
Yeah,
it.
he'd already done that.
Hi,
So
Scott. Scott,
Hi.
welcome to my show. Yay!
Good to be here. Sorry I'm late. I was dog sitting, and everybody came home a day early, so it threw everything off. But
yeah.
Oh, no worries. My viewers are so happy that you guys are here. We are so psyched. So it's all good.
been driving with the sunroof down, so I don't know. I probably look like a hot mess.
Magnum PI tan, maybe?
Magnum PM.
Well, you got your night moves.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
Jeez, little slippery.
Careful. So yeah, so that was and that was before we started doing TruthStream, is just a lot of the Facebook posts, and I would even mention that, hey, Trump isn't as bad as you guys think he is. And boy, did that not work in Washington State very well. It just, people just couldn't see it. They didn't want to hear it. And I just thought, wow, most people, I get along with most people, and it doesn't matter who this information's coming from, because if they're going to hear it from me and not hear it, they're not going to be able to hear it from anybody. At least that's what I thought.
You're going back to the Truth Serum days.
Yeah, Truth Serum. Yes.
Which, might be the alternative name for the.
Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, we're trying to think of some.
Gianni never could get the name of the channel right.
Right. Here, let me just. Oh, I was trying to change the name. It was just TruthStream Joe, TruthStream, but I put TruthStream Joe when Scott and I are not on the actual same channel. So.
Oh, you know what? I can edit it. I can do it right now. I can edit your name. I'll put Joe and Scott while you talk. So, yeah, I'll do it for you.
Live or not live?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
We are live everywhere. We're live on your Rumble and everywhere, boy.
That's right.
Yep.
So, Scott, I wanted to interview you, since you guys are always the interviewers. I wanted you guys to be the interviewees. So my question for Joe was, how did TruthStream come about? How did you meet? And so he pretty much told us how TruthStream came about, but I wanted to get your take on it. What led you to TruthStream? What was the impetus to have you join forces with Joe? Just tell me your story. I'd love to hear your backstory. And I just love the two of you. You're just it's so wonderful to see old friends, and not only have old friends that, just hang out, but you guys have a mission. You really have a soul connection. I will tell you, you do have a past life connection. I'm going to do readings on you guys later, but I just think it's beautiful, and I want to get your story. How did it all come about? And I'm going to give you the mic, Scott.
Well, that's funny. It's definitely a soul contract, because who would volunteer for this, right? No, but it's kind of funny because Joe and I, we've been kind of joined at the hip for a long time, but when people ask us about it, we can't remember when that started. And Joe probably went into the fact that, we were hanging out. We ran a nightclub together, started a nightclub together. We've worked in many bars together, big part of the art scene, Joe on the music side, me on the
Commercials.
paint side, and well, that and the production company.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd cast Joe in our commercials on a pretty regular basis.
I make a pretty good gorilla.
Well, he's, it's hard to find good talent, and Joe's a great actor. He really is.
He's a comedian. He's pretty funny too.
Oh yeah.
Sit down only. Stand-up comics too much pressure, but I can sit down and do it.
Yeah, humor is definitely the foundation of our friendship. I don't think it would exist if it weren't for the humor.
Right.
And no, we've always had a great time. But it was funny because my mom and Joe's dad were on the phone, and it turns out our grandfathers, left the same area at the same time on probably the same boat, but they grew up within 40 kilometers of one another. And
in Italy.
Yeah, there's a pretty good chance they knew each other. So, Joe's family settling here in the Northwest, and mine in upstate New York at the time. So yeah, I don't know. It definitely feels like a soul contract for sure.
Oh, it totally, totally is. I mean, it's just like like literally, like when we got on, first of all, you have a soul contract, but can I tell you, when we met, it was crazy. Like I talked to Joe on this phone for for an hour and a half, and then after our live stream, we were talking for like an hour, and we're like, okay, we've been talking for like 2 hours, maybe. I'm like, I gotta pee, I gotta go.
Oh yeah. Well, good thing it wasn't me. It would have been like a 6-hour conversation, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great. That's great. I mean, you were an instant member of the family when we met you. So,
Oh, it's just awesome. It was just awesome. And I had never met anyone that had the Bono, thing. And so I was like, oh my God, we're destined to talk.
Oh, yeah.
And that was just, and people really like that show. So if you guys did not, I'm going to put it, I did an epic show with Joe and Scott on TruthStream. It's about the whole Bono story. I never even did it on my own channel, but you know, Scott, I mean, Joe was like, "You got to come on. You got to tell it." I'm like, "All right, let's do it. Let's do it."
I've been looking for some of these missing pieces for a very long time. I'm still trying to figure out with these bands, because we've heard the Donald Marshall story, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's just really one person that does that. I mean, so we've interacted with Donald, but there must be some kind of team that of songwriters that once these popular bands are either replaced or whatever happens with them, that they take the narrative of the storyline that was their life story before they were replaced or whatever, and they just continue with that, and they write all these songs. And it's just weird, because as a songwriter, I do what I do. I start with an acoustic guitar. I don't have a lot of people that I play music with right now, because it's hard to find even people to have conversations with, nevertheless, play music with. And yeah, I'm just trying to really piece a lot of this stuff together. And Lady D came along, and it's like, okay, that seems like a very viable piece of the story, because I just trying to figure out what's happened with this band, and how someone that, because it's weird when someone has that much passion and driven by the best of humanity, and then they're teamed up with the Klaus Schwabs of the world. It's like, what happened there? And that's not an easy thing to just figure out.
well, here's what was really therapeutic about our conversation with you.
Okay.
Because Joe and I were both very emotionally invested in you too. Bono specifically. People used to call me Bono. I had the same hair. I'll admit it. That epic mullet back in the day. And yeah, no, really. So we felt really duped. Myself much sooner than Joe, and I watched his heartbreak because he was more invested than I was. And
I've seen him 16 times.
Yeah.
I've I've taken him to like 4 different concerts that they put on. And
yeah, well, my sister's friend Kelly introduced me to, I think it was War.
Right.
And I mean, it was just, I listened to it 1,000 times in a row, and she invited me to go see them at Red Rocks, which is that absolutely legendary, epic performance. My parents wouldn't let me go, and I've never
Oh,
let it go. Honestly, yeah,
I wouldn't either.
right. But we felt so duped, and in talking to you, it feels really good. My interest in U2 waned so significantly right around the time of Achtung Baby, which I think was the transition. And what's funny? I always hated the Beatles, and I didn't know why, but I think I sniffed a rat. And same thing with U2. And Joe, I remember Joe saying, "No, you got to listen to Achtung Baby. There's some great songs in there," and he wasn't wrong. I mean, it was just there was such a different emotion to the whole thing, and
Mm-hmm.
so you kind of, I don't know, you shed some light on the situation for us, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's like it needed a woman's touch, kind of, to help heal the fractured parts of what for me, what I was dealing with somehow, because I didn't know who the hell to talk to, because he didn't have the answers. No one really had the answers. Like, you can't just start talking about this and expect someone's gonna jump on. Now we have our friend Vegas 68, who he came on and talked about a lot of the things going on down in Vegas with the shows, and that
Mm-hmm.
he went to the U2 show at the Sphere, and a lot of the the 8 people that he went with, none of them thought that was the real Bono, and they're not even awakened. They're not privy to the things that we are. And so when you start hearing that from just a normal U2 fan, that's huge. And maybe that's why they did some of those shows at the Sphere, to get people looking into it, to really starting to read the words, that in the believe, they'll flash things on the screen, and then lie is in the middle of believe, and they've had that at their shows for like 20 some years now. And to
Mm-hmm.
see the kind of some of the satanic caricatures and characters that are in the artwork that were being displayed on the Sphere screens. And yeah, I don't know, it's just it's interesting. Or it could have just been a moneymaker for the Satanists that put those shows on. I mean, that's the thing with these shows, and especially with TruthStream. Almost every show that we do, there's layers of conversations that are happening within the dialogue. We're
Mm-hmm.
looking for little pieces, and there's like the 3D, the 5D, and then there's ways that we talk. Like when we do a show, Scott brings a wealth of kind of unique esoteric awareness that I'm not as privy to, and I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to ask questions that maybe if someone's tuning in for the first time, we don't lose them because it's so out there. So I'm trying to reel in where we can tie the people that are knowledgeable of this information and maybe not so knowledgeable. So
I saw that when it came in.
All right, we got to address that one. Just saying.
There's a Fulford in the audience, and I'm wondering if there's any relation to Benjamin. Please let us know.
She's from the UK, Lisa. So, as your friend from the UK,
But no, I'm
Lisa.
talking about Benjamin Fulford.
Oh, okay.
Used to
Let
be
me see.
one of the publishers at Forbes magazine, and yeah, he reports on the wild and crazy for sure. It's been doing it for years.
right,
He lives in Japan, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think my friend Lisa that's in the chat here is from the UK, so I'm not sure. But if you are related, let us know in the chat.
Right.
Oh,
Thanks, Lori. What a sweet comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, like and subscribe.
There you go. There you go. And
The garden hose says, I still love Ben.
oh,
I do too. He's it's sort of like David Icke, who's kind of lost his way a little bit, but pioneers like that, you got to hold a little bit of respect for, I think.
right. There you
Hey,
go.
Marin's in the audience.
And Marin will be, and I have a message for Marin, and also for our friend Maura, and maybe for True Stormy Joe. So we're just putting it out there because we're manifesting, and Marin's here. I think the plan is to do a really cool event in October in Sarasota, a TruthStream event, and have Marin speak and maybe Jordan speak, and Lady D come down, because we can't think of a better place to do it than, we have so many friends in Florida, and we want to go back to Florida, and we want to do a really cool event. So I think after we do our healing center journey in Ireland, we're going to go to Florida, and so we're looking for the right location and all that jazz. So
we're not doing it if Marin doesn't show up.
And Marin has to be there. So.
Yeah, that's a requirement.
Okay. First of all, no relation to Ben. However, Miss Marin says, yes, she's so in. Oh, sorry. Wait a minute. Where'd you go? Sorry. I'm giving everyone epileptic seizures tonight.
Marin, you can bring
extra pants.
Bring your Depends. You're fine. Actually, now they're called Depend at Costco. They've removed the S as part of the Mandela effect, apparently.
I know. Joe bought them every week, and he just realized, wait a minute.
They removed the S? No, that's what?
Right? No, look it up. It's Depend in Costco.
No, it isn't. What?
No, I know. You're exactly right. No, it isn't. But
okay, is it the Berenstain Bears or the Bernstein Bears? Tell me.
Berenstain Bears.
Thank you. And what? And is it Luke? I am your father, right? Luke, I am your father. What did you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That and C3PO was the big one. He never had a silver leg. It was always a gold leg. I mean, like both legs were gold, and he was a bit effeminate for a robot. But
it is. It's the timelines, because we're ascending now. So I like these different timelines, and then we have the cabal messing with us. So that's it. But isn't it crazy? Because you think you're losing it. And how many times did Nelson Mandela die in the last 20 years?
3?
Right. Well, Jimmy Carter died a few times. Who was the other one that died a few times?
Someone just recently.
That I was like, didn't he already die?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, God. Who was it? It was like 2 weeks ago.
I'm waiting for Patrick Swayze to be alive.
He might be.
Yeah, that never made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's crazy. But, when you think about merging timelines and you think about what we're in, and, it's so funny, especially the Nothing's Happening crowd.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Cracks me up. It's like, oh, aren't you precious? Like,
are they alive? Like, are they alive? That's like totally Weekend at Bernie's. Like, somebody needs to knock them on the shoulder and say, you're dead. Just go lie in a grave, right?
Go outside at night. I mean, just look up at the sky. Like, everything is so alive right now. It's crazy.
It is.
But I'm really feeling it. And what I'm thinking, the people that are setting the Teslas on fire and so on, I mean, granted, a lot of them are just cashing the paycheck, but
exactly.
I think it's just this insistence on a reality. It's been a while. We haven't been able to agree on what reality is, but now we're at the point where we're firmly in two different camps and we don't understand each other at all. And what I think is going to happen is pretty soon we're not going to see each other at all, because we really are having that kind of split.
You are so right. You're very spiritual. I just want to make one announcement, because I said something on the Sean Atwood channel that I just want to, I misspoke. When I spoke today, who watched me earlier, what I meant to say is that Donald Trump is the head of the people taking down the cabal, not the head of the cabal, because I rewatched the show, and when you're nervous and you misspeak, I'm like, oh no, I didn't mean that. I meant that Donald Trump is, because when I rewatched the show, I'm like, oh, I hope they understood what I was saying. So everyone knows I'm Team Trump. He's the head of taking down the cabal. But sometimes, you get a little nervous, because I was on the big channel with the UK people. So I was a little nervous, because Beverly Rhodes is kind of like, let's say, the Bono of psychics. So I was a little nervous.
Okay.
Anyways, I want to talk about your spiritual awakenings and your gifts, because you both are extremely psychic. So whoever wants to go first, whoever wants to go first, figure it out.
Well, he's had a few more, I think, experiences than I have in that realm. But at the same time, here's the thing: he doesn't talk about them a lot on the show. So I don't want to put him. I mean, he'll speak for himself, but
yeah, because then the men show up with butterfly nets and lab coats, and I mean, I've seen some really strange things, and yeah, when you share them across the internet, people make certain conclusions, but no, it's always been that way. I've seen really crazy things. I mean, I remember on a backpacking trip with 3 kids. I think we were, I don't know, maybe 10 years old or something like that. And we saw this mountain man come into camp. We were sitting in a lean-to down by this lake in the middle of nowhere in the Rocky Mountains. And all of a sudden this mountain man lights a fire, and it's all like blue, and it was blue flame. And we're all sitting there. We're freaking out because we're children, but we were all
Mm-hmm.
watching exactly the same thing. Yeah. It kind of started there. I remember there was a house in Germany. There was all these weird ghosts, and
Ooh.
they were moving around like you'd see in the movies. I mean,
Oh my
they
Lord.
were very visible, you know. But yeah, that was the early stuff, and then telepathy and all the clairs. Kind of, I got to sample them all. They're not useful to me, but there was a time where I'd pick up an object and I just get the whole history of the object.
Wow.
And no, it was awful. It was just a lot of information coming in at once when you didn't ask for it, and I hated that one. But that was only a few weeks. Um, I don't know, a lot of different clairs popping in at different times, reading people's minds, but all at once, and everybody's overwhelming
Well,
stuff.
tell them. So Lori asked what state are we in. We're in Washington State. We're about 35, 40 minutes from Seattle, south. But what about wasn't there something that happened with your father when you
Oh
communicated?
yeah,
This gave me chills. I think this is a pretty cool story to share.
yeah. Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I was living with my girlfriend at the time in South Dakota, and I had a failed business here in Washington. I moved around a lot in my life, but
Mm-hmm.
so I was talking to my dad, and he said, "Well, why don't you come here and go to my school for free?" He was a college president, and while you're figuring it out, and I did, and I met a beautiful girl that I spent 10 years with. It was a beekeeper's daughter, and she was so stunning, it was unreal. But so one day I'm driving my car, and I'm just finding myself driving to the condo where I used to live with my dad, and I hadn't been there in
This is after he passed.
no,
Okay, before. Okay.
yeah. This
He has stories before and after, so I'm just trying to clarify.
Okay.
My dad was always an athlete, really strong guy. You know, he looked like a cross between Elvis Presley and Sean Connery, and I mean, just staggeringly handsome fellow, and he was a college president. So I find myself driving over to the condo, and I'm more than 3/4 of the way there before I realize how absurd it is, because I have no reason to go at all. But I figured, well, I'll check the mail while I'm there, since I'm almost there. And his car was in the driveway. And my dad was very type A and very, like just work, work, work. So for his car
Mm-hmm.
to be there in the middle of the day was really strange. And I went in and I found him just white as a sheet, sweating bullets, and just in really bad shape. And I had no idea. Now he had been diagnosed with leukemia, but the doctors assured us that would never kill him. It would just make life a little bit difficult. And so I called his doctor, and his doctor said, if you don't get him in right now, we're going to send an ambulance, because I couldn't get him to go with me because he was very stubborn. And then he left the house in a bathrobe, which my dad would never have done in a million years, but he was in that bad a shape. And we got there, and within 20 minutes, he was intubated. And the doctors told me if you were even a couple of minutes later than you were, he wouldn't have survived.
Wow.
So I was just sent there, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, it was something.
Wow.
And then years later, when he did pass, it was in Houston, Texas, and I held his hand when he went. But prior to him leaving, he'd suffered a massive stroke, and so there, I mean, the body was kind of a vegetable. But we had a very open dialogue, and I'd spent a lot of time in the hospital room with him, and when it was just us, most of it was telepathic. Sometimes I was talking out loud and probably looked like a crazy person. But we were going back and forth, and he was explaining what he saw. And I said, Dad, what is it like? Is it like what the Buddhists say? Is it what the Christians say? I mean, he said, it's all of that and more. He said, but he said, it's absolute bliss. Don't feel an ounce of sorrow for me. This is amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
And we had this conversation that went on for, went on intermittently for a couple of days. And I was driving home, and all of a sudden I felt him sitting in the passenger seat of my Range Rover.
This is the story.
I
Yep.
could feel him there, and it was just like, wow, because I hadn't heard from him in a while, and this was yeah, I'm just telling myself, yeah, you're being creative and dealing with a stressful situation. Don't read too much into it, whatever. And he appears, and I feel it, and he cracks a joke. First thing he says, "Your mother's on the phone." And that was always a joke because my mom was always on the damn phone. And so she was on the phone with my aunt. So he decided to come hang out with me. And the tears are flowing. And I'm just like, oh my God, he's
Wow.
right next to me. And we're driving, and there's just amazing dialogue. But he interrupts himself in 1 minute to say, "Hey, slow down going over this pass. There's a cop on the other side." So I slow down, and I go over the top of this ridge, and there's a cop sitting right there. That I would have definitely gotten a ticket had he not say that. And yeah, there was a few moments like that on the way home, and it was pretty intense.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can certainly, that's an amazing, beautiful story. I can tell you have gifts. And I agree with you when you said that sometimes, being born psychic, you're born with it, okay? You can't just become psychic. It's just like having a singing voice, right? You can't be born not carrying a tune and become Luciano Pavarotti. And there's degrees. Like you can either carry a tune or you could sing like Bono, So but the bottom line is that when you're born open, it can be a curse because you're absorbing everything. Like you said, you picked up something, it's overwhelming. It's like, I don't want to know everything about this object. Or when I walk through a crowd, that's why I'm kind of like a hermit, because when I walk through a crowd, I pick up everything being psychic. So it is hard at first. It's a blessing, but it can be a curse until you learn how to kind of control it and tame it and learn how to use it to your advantage so it's not a curse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's funny you'd mention the singing in particular because I can't carry a tune in a bucket, and I admire people who can. I really, really do, and I love music. And we were at it was at a party after the event that we just did in Eatonville, and I was hanging out with this gal, um, and I was playing a bunch of music, and we were singing along, and I apologized for it. I said, I know I can't carry a tune. She said, "You have an amazing voice. What are you talking about?" And I thought, shit, because when I was on a hike years ago, I got this huge download. It was insane, the things that they told me. But one of them was that any talent that I had before, any skill or whatever, it would be coming back. And I told Joe this a long time ago. And so when she made that comment, I just thought,
I was asleep. I didn't even.
I know.
I had an allergy attack. I didn't even realize that.
yeah,
That's really
well,
cool.
I mean, if I sounded like I usually do, I would have woken you up, and you would have been mad. Like, who's slaughtering the goat?
He very rarely sings around me.
Yeah, well, no, it was really kind of cool, and so many of the things, like I'm on this hike, and I'm the nature around here is just incredible, and I'm looking up at the trees, and I always stop and touch the trees and everything, and get my bearing, and I could really I connected to the mycelium network in the earth, and once I did that, I was walking, and I could see the light, not with my eyes, but with my, like my third eye. I could see the light under my feet as I walked, and I could feel it. Almost felt like the trees were bending in, and I was connected. I could hear them all, as one. And then, presumably I was just talking to my oversoul, but there was so much information about things that were going to happen, and it sounded insane. This wasn't anything I would discuss in a room full of people. I told Joe some of it, and one by one, all this stuff has happened, and so it leads me to believe the other stuff is probably going to happen as well because all this other stuff has happened. So, yeah, I'm real excited about where we're going.
We are we are on the precipice. There's a lot of your Rumble that I'm bringing up I love that I can bring up the Rumble chat. This is the first time that Lady D's ever streamed live on multi-platform. So we're live on Rumble, Truth Stream with Joe and Scott Stramble. I can't say Truth Stream for some reason. Every time I say Truth Stream, I'm la la la.
I know you said Tooth Stream earlier,
I
which
know,
is
Truth Stream.
no,
I
but
can't
that's
talk.
yeah, that's a inside joke.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's funny.
If Rumble would fix the R, then we would be Truth Stream. But we're Tooth Stream. That's fine.
Yeah.
Truth Stream. But it's so funny. This is the first time I've ever done multi-platform, so this is great. So I'm bringing up we're streaming live from Joe and Scott's Truth Stream and also their X account. So this is great. I love it.
And if you guys are watching on X, please follow Soul Therapy with Lady D.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to help build. So this is part of the agreement, the untalked about agreement, I suppose, that Scott and I have. If we're going to do with a show with someone, you know, we did that with Jordan Clark too. We want to help them learn some of these things because, you know, since Scott and I both have teaching backgrounds, the goal is to empower people so that they have the skills to then go do other shows and learn how to do this, and then maybe teach other shows little tricks or what have you to build the community. Because if we don't inspire and teach each other, then I don't think we're being as of service as we can be. So it's an honor to help you get set up so that now when maybe Marin comes on your show another time, she now knows, oh, I can stream to my channels as well. That's the whole point of doing some of this.
This is amazing. I love this community that we're building. This is broader community, and it's amazing. And this is what we're doing it for. And we're on the front lines of something amazing here. I mean, we're upon ascension. Who did you ever think then when you were a little kid that you would be living in such amazing times and it would be so epic? Seriously.
Well, I told my mother, I remember it was somehow Michael Jackson pops in because I think I was watching a bunch of Michael Jackson. It was a lot of Michael Jackson things.
Learning the dance moves. Let's be honest.
No, it really wasn't at the time.
Love Michael Jackson. I loved him. He was the shit when I was young.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I told my mom one night. I remember I was just like, I'm destined for greatness. I'm going to do something great. I have no idea what it is. And then as life went on, it was just sort of like, well, I wonder if
we missed that window.
I wonder if all the kids think that, like, But, no, I'm really starting to see it now. I don't just mean me. I mean, all of us, in coming together and doing what we're doing, there's a greatness to it. There's, we've got front row seats to the best show that ever has been in the history of
humanity.
And
we're on the field. We're all at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the reason. Well, who would do this? I mean,
exactly.
Who would do a show like this for a couple of years? Especially when we don't have any money in it. Yeah, it's
exactly. Me too.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to do, but it's a calling, and you can't say no to a calling. So
right, yeah, you do
it.
You deal with censorship, with trying to explain why you're working so hard and you're not making anything, and it's just this isn't for most people. I mean, I'll admit, before COVID, my Airstream's over there, and I remember thinking, well, I've tried everything that I've wanted to try as far as film and music and everything. Not that I was done, but I played all out. I did everything that I thought I could do. And I thought, well, basically, my mom's done okay in the stock market. I have 5 siblings. I think what the rest of my life is going to be is that I have my Airstream and I have a car that can pull it. And I'll get some inheritance, and then I'll invest that so I can make just enough a year to, maybe travel around and live minimally, and I have a roof over my head. And that's where I was at about 6 years ago, because I'm like, I don't know what else I can really do with my ambition or my skills. I mean, and I started, doing some podcasts at the time, but, it was mainly local. And then this happened. And it was like, oh, okay. So my intuitive nature that said something's really wrong in the world, it really is. And now I get to help be part of sharing what that is. And it's been incredible because it's given a rebirth to a lot of my ambitions. Because yeah, I kind of parked the car in the garage in a way for a while, and I thought that was it. I'm just gonna get old in the airstream, and that's all I got left. So
Well, God, that was like when I came back from Utah.
yeah,
Joe stayed in Utah for another couple of years. I came back to Tacoma because there was such a sense of community here. You know, I mean, like
when he left, there was
I was in the art scene,
yeah.
and I'd been a bartender, and I knew everyone in town, and you know, it's hard to recreate that. I mean, I felt totally embraced. I walked in a room and like everybody knew, and I came back, and it was like the mind virus had swept, and so naturally, I offended most of the remaining friends that I had pretty quickly with common sense. You know, God forbid, and. And so I spent this period of time. It was a dark night of the soul. It lasted for a long time, and you know, I was never suicidal, but I was definitely welcoming death. You know, and it really, I went to places I'd never been before, and I think I did kind of abandon. Well, I don't know about abandoning hope, but I abandoned most of my aspirations. I mean, it was a really dark period, and
Because they didn't seem to get us anywhere.
it was necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't be here if I didn't do that, and
Right.
that was miserable. And I had terrible back pain at the time. I had an injured back, and I would throw myself out of the bed and crawl to the bathroom. Kind of, it was really awful.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awful.
And so, yeah, that was a hell of a thing. It seems like a lot of folks that are here today have had a period of time like
the dark
like
night of the
that.
soul, or
Yeah.
years of the soul. Well, even you, Lady D, we talked about this before the show. Now that things in some way are starting to line up, you and I talked about this, and I know many people feel this way. We're just not used to success. We're used to maybe something happens and you ride that wave for a little bit and you enjoy it, but you know it's going to be short-lived, so you try and enjoy it a little bit. But then, whether it's days or weeks later, it's back to the drawing board because there really maybe wasn't enough success to springboard off of with the finances, so that you can be like, okay, I'm going to really start something now. It's like, I got to start again. I've had to start over so many freaking times in my life, move back in with my family because I have a lot of ambition and my parents are very supportive. But when I came back, I'll never forget this. I came back this time after being in a rough relationship. And this was in probably 2018, 2017. And my dad said, you know, you just don't have any fuck ups left anymore. And he meant it with care, but he's like, you come home, you were with the wrong relationship, and the girl had a lot of, psychological issues, and you're lucky to come out of that, and now you have a foundation with your parents once again, Joe, to start over. But really think about all the decisions that you're going to make now. Don't just, follow the wrong girl, or jump into the wrong career, or like you've got to make it work this time, because how many times do you get to start over and have the support from a loving family? And so it's been amazing. I wouldn't be here without the love of my parents and the examples that they went through. And this is something that Lisa Schermerhorn taught me in the last probably 5-6 months. She helped me to see, is on one of our guided journeys. She basically helped me to see that all the things that my father went through, that I could look at them and be angry about them, or that part of my soul contract in being his firstborn son was that I was privy to what he went through. So would I have the empathy and understanding and examples to be able to do this show? Because without watching my dad and all the corruption in the medical world and the taxes and all the shit that he went through, my dad was fired from Safeway for paying someone's when people didn't have their $2 to pay their copay, he was fired for paying it.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
So so someone that worked with him reported him and said, because somehow my dad was a very, very loving, nice guy, but also he didn't put up with shit if it kept happening over and over. So he probably
Mm-hmm.
called out this pharmacy tech on something. Anyway, their
Mm-hmm.
way of getting back at him was to report him that he paid the copay. And my dad was forced to either retire or get fired. And he'd been there for, I don't know, 97. Yeah, he'd been there for like 15 years. And so, when you learn the corruption of a big company and they do that to your own father, I'm just like, something is not right here. So.
We got to be related. I mean, my grandfather, who he's a legend in Auburn, New York. Every time I go back there, it's like I have this weird celebrity status. I remember going there when I was like 16, and my uncle Tony taking me to the bars, and everybody is like, "You got an ID?" And he's like, "You know who this is?" And then everybody's buying me a drink. It was crazy, but that was my grandfather. And my grandfather used to sell insurance, life insurance, and when people couldn't make their premium, he would pay it for them.
Right. See? Because that's the way the world. I mean, it feels good to help people, and I think that's the toughest thing that's been. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate. We want to help people, but when you're just trying to put on the oxygen mask yourself, and you can't even do it, I mean, like, and we try to not to. Well, Scott doesn't want me to talk about it too much on the show, but when you have a show like ours, and there's 43,000 people that are subscribers and 200 people are watching, and your other friend shows have 4,000 to 5,000 people watching, it's like, when is this shit going to stop? It's infuriating at times, but at the same time, it is what it is, and it's all we can do. And
Badge of honor.
we're figuring it out. It's a badge of honor, but it makes it really hard to try and make a difference when, of course, that has an impact on people supporting the show, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to be an empathic helper when you're barely able to function on your own. So it's been very challenging. It's been a few years of that. Like, you're in this vice and you're like, I know there's so much more outside of this. And that's what's starting to break apart by making us understand certain things, and then also want to reach out to people like you, because there's people that we know that are part of our tribe. We locked arms with you immediately. Like, you are so part of the tribe. We didn't even question it. Like,
Love it.
we've known people for years, and we felt like we've known you way longer because you're so vibrant and you want to help people. You have a beautiful soul.
And you're Italian.
And I can sing, and I love you too, and Bono. So it was meant to be.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. And I totally get it, Joe. I would be on YouTube 3 or 4 times a week, busting my ass. And then there'll be people that like won't even bother, and they get 25,000 subscribers. It's because, listen, I think a lot of people they pay for their subscribers. Okay. Just saying.
Right.
And it's all about timing and what are they doing to get that? Okay. It's like, are they might have a big platform, but what are they doing to get it? And it's not about the numbers. And I totally get it though, because you do, especially when things are monetized and you're busting your ass, you want to see that success. But I really think that, and I felt the trajectory, and it started like last month with the eclipse and everything. I just feel like people like you and I and the Truth Stream channel. For some reason, I can't say Truth Stream. It's just like she shells by the seashore. We call you T Stream. I T Stream. Truth Stream. But I just think that we're on a trajectory now. I can feel like people like us that were doing the right thing, like the Joes, the Scotts, the Marins, and everyone in this chat, when we were on a mission and we're doing things not because of money, because we're called from God or our soul, our source, whatever you want to. And we were blocked. And I think we were purposely blocked by the dark, the demonic energy. And I feel that's lifting. And so I feel like you and I meeting this trajectory, I just feel like we're all going to be on this trajectory. And we're not, I know for a fact that we're not going to have to struggle anymore. And it's just, we're going to be on a fast track to success. Trust me, my brothers, trust me. The
We're already
struggle
there.
is getting less and less.
Agreed.
Yep.
I mean,
Agreed.
don't you
Well,
feel it? Don't you feel it in the energy? I mean, I don't know when we're going to ascend. Nobody knows, but there is personal ascension, and we all have to go through the dark night of the soul to get where we are. I mean, you can't be a good teacher if you just if you say, okay, I read in a book that this is what you do. You're a sucky teacher unless you've walked the walk. You have to go through the shit, the muck, the mire, the dark night of the soul to
yeah.
help people. So you can look at somebody in the eye and say, I've been there. And because when you work hard for it, such a great accomplishment. Just think about all the people that were handed things on silver platters. Do they ever they don't appreciate it. So everything that you're saying is so true, but all the shit and the muck and mire that we've gone through has brought us to this point and has made us the kick-ass people that we are. And speaking of kick-ass people, look who's here.
Hey!
Wow, I wasn't expecting
Hey, there she is.
A little ray of sunshine jumped in the room here.
Yeah.
I need to get I'm going to get my
see.
soul therapy
Oh.
thing out of your face,
There
Joe.
it
Hold
is.
on one
Okay,
moment.
I look so far
Big,
away all
beautiful
the time.
face better. There we go.
I'm
Good
going
to
to
see
get
you,
that
Marin.
out. Hold on one second.
Now I gotta fix my volume. Sorry, you guys know how I am with technology. Okay.
There, we can see
my
you now.
moon now.
Oh, I love it.
Big moon face and the moon. Got it. Hello, everyone.
How
Hi,
are you?
Mary.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can hear you, honey. We can hear
I'm
you.
right
Yes.
by. We're all good. The camera's moving a lot, but other than that,
I know. I had to fix it. So.
I like your background. It's epic with the moon
And
and
her
the.
hair is just
Thanks,
so.
and
yeah. Did you just get back
One
from
of
the
my many
salon?
friends.
What happened?
Yeah, just go to the salon.
Wow, you look gorgeous. You look gorgeous,
You look
sister.
like you got ready for an event.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
well, actually, I haven't washed my hair in about a week, so thanks.
Awesome.
That must be the
How's it
secret.
going?
I'm not washing my hair for a week.
There you go.
Well,
I
I
mean,
needed to
just to clarify, I do shower. I just don't wash my hair every day.
There is a difference.
okay, you look like you shower. Don't worry. Well,
There were
I
some-
wanted to bring Marin on because it was so funny because when I started to watch Joe and Scott on TruthStream and I was watching them and then I would see Marin in the chat and I was like, oh my God, this is too funny. And then when I was talking to Joe and he brought up Marin, I'm like, no, Marin, she's my friend. We were soul sisters.
Yes.
And so I had to bring the us on because I just had to bring us on. We're building this community and it's just phenomenal. And the one thing that I want to talk about, and I wanted to bring Marin on, being women in this community, we have dealt with such bitchery and backstabbing and jealousy and betrayal. And I have to say, it's so good to have a full soul sister like Marin it's not about jealousy or envy, and it's not about competition. It's about building each other up and bringing each other up. So that's why I'm going to bring as much people on the screen, and I want to do what you and when you and Scott are doing. So Marin, I know you're going to be starting to come on live more, and I'm going to give you the confidence to do it. So tell me, what is it that you want to accomplish in your channel, and how did you? I know we've been friends for over a year now, but I never really heard your story, how you got to YouTube and what you want to accomplish with your channel, hon. So take it away.
I'm not consistent at all on my channel. I've had this channel for 8 years, but I know consistency grows YouTube channels. I mean, that's how it works. And like I said, I told you earlier today, I get nervous going live on my own show when it's just me sitting in my bedroom by myself. I don't know what my deal is. I don't know. I think I have a big fear kind of spotlight, and they shadow ban me anyway. So I'm like, I don't know. I started my channel 8 years ago because I wanted to help people. I think like how we all do. We all have that inner calling to just help humanity in some way. And I was going through my spiritual journey. One of my most watched videos was when I quit drinking alcohol. I think that has the most views out of all of my videos. But yeah, I was going through a spiritual awakening. I was healing a lot of things, and I just wanted to make videos. You know, when I very, very first started watching YouTube, I almost made a beauty channel, like a makeup channel. And then I woke up and I was like, screw that. I need to talk about like spiritual things. And yeah, so I started making videos like how to raise your vibration. And, you know, a lot of my videos in the past, if you watch them, you can kind of tell I'm kind of the love, light, and unicorn parts that we talk about. And, you know, my throat chakra's definitely opened wide up, you know, since 2020, and my page has kind of changed a little bit, but I do miss my old content. You know, I want to get back to the more spiritual side of things. You know, I love Trump and the politics things, but it does drain me. And I know we've talked about this too. And it's just like we've said, this movie isn't really for us. So I'm like, why am I paying attention to it? I'm not someone that can leave emotion out of it. And I know that you have to leave emotion out of it. And I just cannot do it. So I'm like, why am I torturing myself? So yeah, my goal is to come back on YouTube and kind of bring back old school Manifesting Marin, when I used to make spiritual topics and I wasn't just yelling at everybody on the screen. So,
Marin, I didn't know you were Italian.
Yeah, I am Italian. Yes.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't get emotion out of anything.
No, I can't. I mean, and I'm a woman, and I'm a fiery Aries sign, so I mean, it's just I can't.
My dad was an Aries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fight.
Well, and people need to know, you know, Marin's been, so Jordan Clark got his Instagram taken down a week ago, and he's like, dude, what do I do? And I said, hold on a second. There's only one person I can call right now. And it wasn't the news that he wanted, but he needed to know the reality.
Here's your
I
reality.
was like, I'm sorry, because I've never had any of my pages revived ever. I think I'm on, this is either my 5th or 6th Instagram. I lose track. That's a whole other reason why I didn't continue filming post 2020 on YouTube, because they're worse than Instagram. And, you know, my channel to me is kind of like a journal, and I can look back on my journey, like my old videos, and I would just be so sad if it was gone. And you know, I've had this channel for 8 years and I don't have a large following, but like, it's just for my personal like stuff to look back on. So that's another reason why I wasn't consistent, because everything I wanted to talk about, I knew they would shut my page down for. So
right,
what can you do? But yeah, Jordan's page is still there, right? He just can't go live.
Yeah, he can't go live, so he switched over to X, and he's actually getting a lot more folks on his X, but at the same time, then it lives on, because on Instagram, if you go live, a lot of times it may not save it. Is that right, or how does that part work? Because I couldn't get ours to save.
Yeah, there's no replays on the live.
Yeah, I've never gone live on Instagram because I'm always banned. Like, they don't let me anyway, so I can't do anything on Instagram.
I know, poor Marin. Like, she's banned everywhere. It's because you're too hot. Muy caliente.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like wonder if it's my higher self doing it, because they know that I'm terrified of the spotlight. So I don't know. You know, I didn't really want to make a YouTube channel, but God kept telling me and pushing me and giving me signs. You know, we're all awake for a reason, and I think it's to use our voices. So that's why I started one.
How long have you been on Instagram? Because I feel like I've been following you for years.
I've been on YouTube for 8 years. On Instagram, I've been on, I don't know. I didn't really start posting anything like, they deleted my very first Instagram, my very first Facebook. I had the max amount of followers, and 2020 hit, and I was putting that whole thing on blast. They deleted my Facebook. Then I got like 10 more Facebooks deleted, and I don't think I can even join it anymore. So I just gave up there.
Well, I think I was following you for like a year before I ever messaged you. I was probably following you for like a year.
I think you found me through YouTube though, because I never really was that consistent on Instagram, because I had YouTube, but then I got afraid after 2020 because I didn't want them to delete it. Then I moved over to Instagram and started shit posting constantly all day, every day. And then they deleted 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I think this is my 5th account now, but you know, I've had this account for 2 years and I'm still not even at 1,000 followers. So, I mean, everything I post doesn't get seen. I'm so shadow banned, and I know you guys can relate.
We're in the same club.
Well, the fact that this has happened to Marin, the only thing about it, I guess that's a good thing, is it helps us feel a little less crazy that this shit's really going on, because it's like, are we this targeted? And I think we're this targeted because, you know, we're doing this for the right reasons, and I think we're relatable, and they want to just, you know, stomp on that as much as possible.
Yeah, well, and they leave up the channels that push out the doom and the gloom and that there's no hope, because they want people in fear. And you know, a lot of the things I talk about is squashing all of that and how there is hope, and you know, the behind the scenes stuff, and they don't like that. They don't like anything positive, anything that's going to help people and you know, raise their vibration. The cliche saying, I'm going to say it, but they don't like that stuff because it empowers you and it makes you sovereign, and then you don't need the government. And of course they want you dependent on them for everything. So yeah.
There's been a lot of infiltration in this too. I think there's people said there's a lot of 3-letter organizations that have infiltrated in social media because they know that we're empowering and we're waking everyone up. So that's another thing too. I feel like the big channels are getting their CIA, and they're purposely shadow banning. They've shadow banned me. People never get my they never get my announcements that I'm on, or they'll delete comments. I can't even, sometimes I won't even. They're awful.
Because you're very consistent on YouTube. Like, I guarantee you, if you weren't shadow banned, you'd have like so many more subscribers, because you post a lot and people love you, you know?
Thank you.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
They don't like authentic people. They don't like people, you know, empowering others and uniting. But they'll leave up the people who are very divisive and who push out the fear and, you know, the TDS or whoever. Like, those pages grow huge on purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
so I wanted to.
Oh, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, honey. Take it away. No, go ahead. Take it away. Open forum. Go ahead, babe.
There was so much conversation about Marin's cat earlier, and
I'm going to grab a sweatshirt. I'll be right back.
If you follow Marin, you're familiar with her cat. And during the hurricane, they used the refrigerator as a canoe in their living room.
Yeah.
Put the cat in, and then they got in. But can you tell us a little bit about that? Because wow.
Yeah, so that was crazy.
You were floating in the living room with your boyfriend.
So the area that we lived in by the beach never has ever in the history of ever experienced anything like that. So nobody around that area evacuated. I mean, we all know that they rode Mother Nature's back with their technologies and made it worse. So, you know, we know how that goes. But yeah, so everyone, you know, I was tits deep in water, and so our fridge tipped over, and I was just like, we need to gut it, rip everything out, and you know, because it floats, which you don't really would think refrigerators would float, but they do. And so we hollowed it out and put like our phones in there. We had flashlights, and yeah, my cat was in a carrier. We had him. I ripped the freezer door off and had him in that little part. And yeah, that old, you know, our apartment needed an upgrade. It was pretty old, and that fridge saved our life. So we were about ready to set sail on that, out the door if we needed to. So yeah.
That's incredible. Incredible story.
That is amazing. I mean, and FEMA did shit, right? They did nothing for you until Trump was inaugurated, right?
Yeah, well, my boyfriend got he got everything from them, and this is what I'm saying, like, I'm on a list, I swear to God. I got nothing from them. I didn't even get the $750, and then they finally paid me for the hotel stay, but that was it. They denied me everything else. And, you know, we lost the same amount of things. We lost our cars, like everything. And
wow.
Thankfully, my boyfriend got paid like over $8,000, and I got nothing. I got a little bit for the hotel that we were in. I've tried appealing. We've tried the rental assistance program. They approved him. Mine's still pending. It's like the government does not like me. So yeah.
That's
Is
that's
this
kind
is
of awesome.
strange.
Yeah.
I'm on the naughty list for sure. So
Well, you want to be.
You're
yeah.
the naughty list.
But I will say though, you know, I know it looks like that was total chaos, but so many blessings in disguise happened during that time. And, you know, we ended up getting help from family and friends, and so many people came through, and so many other people cannot say the same. So at the end of the day, I'm really grateful. Our place on the beach is getting rebuilt as we speak. And, you know, we do plan on moving back. I know people are probably like, what the fuck? Why would you move back there? But like I said, that hurricanes hitting that area of Florida is very rare. And it wasn't even the hurricane. It was a surge that made everyone flood over there. So it was crazy.
When you were so overwhelmingly positive the whole time while you're losing all your
I
shit.
know.
Well, I was calling out. I
awesome.
knew that God put me in that situation to call FEMA out. And now look at all the exposure FEMA, you know, then they started really coming down on my Instagram page because I was posting, you know, in the hotel, like they're not helping anybody, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, FEMA got so much exposure for being the corrupt, you know, agency that they are. So again, it was all by design, I think. And, you know, the dark serves the light in roundabout ways all the time, no matter what, even when they're not trying to. So it exposed FEMA. And now, you know, Trump's talking about getting rid of FEMA and, you know, hopefully replaces it with something that's not corrupt, because they're still right now not doing their job.
Right. So someone asked how many YouTube channels we're on. I think for TruthStream we're on our 4th, and then I've had like 4 other channels. So it's
see,
been,
you guys know how it is. Like, that's what I'm so afraid of on my channel. You know, I've had it for so long that I'm afraid to talk about anything like that anymore, because I just don't want them. They'll just yank it out of nowhere with no warning. Like, you guys know it's happened to you, and it's devastating. So it really sucks.
That's an interesting question. I don't know about. Oh, we can't post the questions. Country boy asked
Which
about
question?
Country
which one you
boy.
want to pull up?
country boy
boy
asked
with
about
with a K.
yeah, he asked about FEMA camps, death camps.
Okay, I'll find it.
It's the
Oh, here we
5th,
go.
I think.
I mean,
Well, on our
I'll tell you that, you know, when I was down
There
in
we
the
go.
South, I'd go to gun shows and so on in Mississippi, and the old timers would talk about the UN takeover, and, you know, they pointed out all these trucks in this lot up on Highway 49, and that they were all getting retrofitted for the UN invasion and so on. These guys were like, you know, they were ahead of Alex Jones on this stuff. I mean, it was crazy to hear this stuff, and then, you know, years later, watching it kind of come to fruition. We've all seen the footage of the coffins and so on. I don't know firsthand what's going on. You know, there's rumors about, you know, the Walmarts. You know, they kind of strategically seem to go empty, you know, from time to time.
right.
I don't know, but I don't think that's a part of where we're headed. You know, I think Trump interrupted the progress on that plan entirely.
Yeah, well, if they're really going to have 30,000 guillotines, I mean, if that's a real thing, I mean that.
Yeah, there's never been any evidence for any of that stuff either.
Yeah, I haven't.
I
You know,
think that was the plan if Hillary were to win. That
Yeah.
they had all of that plan. Yeah.
right. I mean, we don't get people that call up the show and say, "Hey, Joe and Scott, you know, you guys you're right on the right track. Here's some inside information." And I think that's the beautiful thing about doing these live shows is the audience is just as much a part of the show as we are, and they're helping guide. We can't bring in every, you know, post, but they're helping guide a lot of this. So and I think that's part of the transparency is we're figuring this out. I don't think about what we do. We're live. There's no script. You know, newscasters are reading stuff. They're being told what to say, and we're just winging it. So this is kind of, as an actor, it's kind of keeping, you know, personally my improv skills polished to some extent. But it's like, and so when the audience does comment, they're really bringing something to the table. And why? because they're either bringing information. There's times we're wondering what something is, and then they say it. They're helping guide certain things with their comments. So it's really beautiful. And I don't know. I look at mainstream news now, and it's like it's got to be so. I mean, to watch that, how boring and scripted it is. I mean, there's some shows. I mean, the Five with Jesse Waters at times, and what's his name?
Greg Gutfeld. Gutfeld.
Yeah, they got some cool stuff going on there.
I can't watch it. It just triggers me so bad because when I watch the news, like I know that it's so fake and scripted, but what triggers me is that I'm like, there's people out here that literally believe this. Like,
no, but it's good to watch so you know where the other people are coming from.
Right.
I mean,
I know, but it's like I know people are like, oh, it's to wake them up, but in some regards, I think it puts people further to sleep. Like it just keeps them in that psychosis because they're like, well, the news said it, not so much Fox, but CNN, it's crazy the stuff that they say and the people that, will probably never wake up. Like it puts them further and further to sleep. But somebody, I think it was Dave from News Trees. What is it? News Treason?
I was thinking you were gonna say. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, he said something. I love all those guys on Rambo and Badlands, but he said something that did make sense to me because I was like, if they want to wake people up, why are they not just saying the truth on the mainstream?
Yep.
Like, more than they are now. And he explained it in a way that I was like, okay, that makes sense. And he was like, they probably never will fully because they want the ratings to basically go to zero. And they don't want people to ever go back to trusting those news sources. Like they want it to completely fall to nothing so that people don't trust it. And then we can, like other channels, We Are the News Now, like was one of the drops. And it's like, that I was like, that makes sense because they don't want people, like if they start saying that whole truth, then people are going to start trusting the news again. And then that's a slippery slope back into, control, lies, propaganda, all of that. So I really resonated when he said that. I was like, okay, that makes sense. They don't want people going back to it.
And he also said that, in each individual, they have to come to the precipice within themselves. They have to have that aha moment. They have to have that certain thing where they're like, well, that doesn't make sense. And then they can start looking at other things. And I think they're allowing the mainstream news to do what it's doing so that at some point people see the ridiculousness of it. And then they start thinking, okay, there's got to be something else that is out there that's not this. And he had a good point on that.
Well, I watched, the Fox clips. I mean, I can't get through a whole show or anything, but I watched the Fox clips because I wouldn't be able to talk to people, to ordinary people ever, because my perspective is just so far out. So it gives me a little bit of a baseline as to what they're ingesting and where they're at, because otherwise I would have no idea. I really wouldn't. I'm so far. I mean, and you ladies are in the same boat. I mean, you're in another stratosphere.
Yeah, I don't talk to many people these days except my interweb friends.
I don't either.
You guys are my friends, and I've never met you.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like almost every awake person I've met says that. They're like, all my friends are on the internet now. I'm like, yeah, same.
Well, the folks that I just got done dog sitting for, they're wonderful family. They're wonderful people, but they're left-leaning, which everybody in the Northwest seems to be.
Almost.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Near a city. And but she knows we do a show, and when I'm dog sitting, I'm doing a show from the house. She's like, today, because she came back early, she said, you could do the show here. And I'm thinking, have you seen our show? And I think she has. Sure she has. I'm certain she has. But she's fine with it, It's yeah. But it's so funny to be so counterculture. I mean, like I was punk rock. I was a little punk rock skater kid, back in the day. Always been counterculture. Same thing with Joe. And it's just funny that now a conservative political position and a deep spiritual connection makes you outrageously counterculture. Like that's more punk rock than punk rock ever was.
Thank
Right.
you. My husband from Canada thought he was punk rock, and he's so liberal and loves it. I'm like, you are not punk rock. You are so not punk. Soon to be ex-husband, but yeah, we are the punkers now. The Jesus God people.
I didn't know he was Canadian. Like, how many husbands do you have, D?
I have a soon-to-be ex-husband that I'm in the process of divorcing. He's dead weight, but anyway, yeah, it's like we're the punk rockers now.
Well, think of
Yeah.
like these people that don't like Trump. Trump is the biggest fucking punk rocker out there.
Fuck.
I mean,
Oh, we're
amazing.
getting a concert venue. All these punk rock shows that used to be like anti-government, like Rage Against the Machine, they're like all liberals now that are like govern me harder. Like it's completely backwards. It's completely
Right.
backwards.
Except for
insane.
Johnny Rotten. Johnny Rotten has held the line. He's
I love him, yes, because he was like down with the monarchy.
Morrissey's
Yeah.
like, fuck you. None of this makes sense. Yes. No,
yeah,
it's
that,
great.
you know, all these bands showed their true colors in 2020. They're like, yeah. They're all
Someone
like, oh,
can
against the
someone
system,
take a
like,
shit
no,
on
it's-
Green Day? I'm sorry. Can someone
Oh,
punch
God.
Green Day in the
They're
face?
the
I'm
worst.
so sick of those assholes.
Green
They
Day
are the
started
worst.
out fucked up and just went.
They're the worst. They've all sold their soul. They sold out. They're bought and paid for, and they're all just fake. Yeah.
Can you imagine what their what their lives must be like behind the scenes? That sounds like hell on earth to be in that position.
Well,
What
it's
an
like
awful
being a
situation.
fucking Beatle.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh
they
well,
see
I mean, half
engineered
of
as
them are
the
under MK Ultra and probably abused in ways we can't even imagine. And like, it's really sad, actually. It's
It is.
disgusting.
I just heard Britney Spears is doing all kinds of crazy shit right now, and
is it really her though, or
There's-
someone in
That's
person?
not even her. It doesn't even sound
Yeah,
anything
that's
like
not her.
That's crazy.
but apparently I haven't seen any of it yet. It's like I've got to catch up, but there's been a whole lot of her saying weird shit lately.
Yeah, she was one of the, like, she was passed around from birth, like all those
Oh, yeah,
Disney
Monarch.
kids. It's very, very sad. Yeah,
Disney
if
Monarch.
she's even, I'm not even sure she's still alive, to be honest.
Yeah, I heard, and I tend to agree because I think I did a reading on it, that she died a long time ago. I heard that she was in a car. No, actually, I did a reading on this. She was in a car accident with kind of like what happened with Paul McCartney. She was in a car accident with Justin Timberlake when they were dating, and she was decapitated, and they inserted the clone.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, I feel like most celebrities in Hollywood that we see right now are not the originals. Like,
They're not. You
It's
can
just-
tell.
there's too
You can
many-
so tell. Look at their skin. You can tell clone skin because it's like you look at they have no pores. They're like plastic.
Right.
well, even
Fake,
in the
you know
Cuban community, someone brought up Alex Jones earlier. Like, who the hell is that?
That's not
it's like
Alex
a whole
Jones.
different
That's not
person.
him.
Really,
That
I
is
think
not
we
right.
just
Anything
talk
like
about
Alex
that.
Jones.
he finally stopped drinking and lost some weight. No,
But it's like, it's the head
He's
shape.
dying of
Like, I'm
fear.
like, who is this bald Alex Jones? I don't know. It doesn't look like him at all to me.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think the
If
original
there's some
Alex
way to
Jones.
dye
is
my
still
beard,
him.
maybe I'll be fake.
Lady D, you had mentioned you might do some readings, and maybe you could do one for Marin as well. Like, I'm not sure if that's a card reading or what kind of readings were you thinking of
Oh,
doing?
she's reading you right now.
Oh, behave.
I'm reading you. I'm reading you.
That's right.
Yeah,
I know
we
you.
are empath intuitives. We read everybody.
That's right.
I gotta ask the audience, isn't there just something about Lady D's smile that reminds you a little bit of Bernadette Peters? The one,
I love Bernadette Peters. I love her.
yeah,
know
the
who
one,
that
the
is.
one that was in The Jerk. We might have to pull up a picture.
Or
of it.
young
All
Frankenstein.
right, I'll
Remember-
bring up. That's because we're a lot. We're a little bit older than you, Marin. I'll bring her up. I'll bring up a picture of
He's
her. Hold
just
on.
darling. Oh
Dee,
gosh.
do you remember Bernadette Peters in Young Frankenstein, where
Yes.
he goes to touch her, she's like, "Taffeta, darling," or like lipstick.
All right. I'll bring up a picture of her. I'll bring up a picture of her, and I'll share the screen.
Curly
Okay,
hair.
hold on.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fun to do this stuff.
It is, and I'm telling you, this is like the funnest show I've ever done. I
Oh,
love you. I could have you guys on forever.
I
I
know.
know
I'm
good.
sure that I'll hang out in real life. We weren't all
I know
scattered
we'll have
around
to
the
do this
country.
more often. We'll have to do this make this like a
A
show
month,
that we do on
a
like we
Oh,
do
I
all
monthly.
the
don't know if
We
you
time.
saw
have
my
about 4
comment.
monthlies lined up now.
Well, you got Marin
There
out.
she
D,
is.
you got to fly
Marin out
down
for
in
a while.
October.
Yes, there it is, Bernadette.
Now it's
Oh
funny
yeah,
because
the curly, the
people
hair.
think my hair's red, but my hair's not really red. It looks red on screen. It's like brown with like blonde highlights. But yep, I can see it.
You have the best hair. You have the best hair.
Thank you. I'm glad you said I look like that and not Roseanne Barr. I would have to kill you.
Oh gosh, no,
No,
no, no.
I love
you don't look
Roseanne
like
Barr.
Hi,
Roseanne.
Roseanne.
You
Hi,
don't look
Roseanne.
anything
We
like
love
her.
you as well. We know you're
We love
watching.
you though. I love you,
I love
Roseanne,
you.
but I don't want to look like you. Sorry, I love you though.
We need Roseanne on the show. There's no better show on the internet than TruthStream for Roseanne Barr. There
We
really
love
is.
Roseanne Barr. I love her. So tell me, guys,
That'd
what do
be
you
epic
think?
if she
Tell
was
me
on.
about Roseanne. Did she like what made her like come? Did she like just get an aha moment? Because she's totally saying the fuck you to the cabal. I love that.
She's always been that way, though. She's always been that way. I think she's one of us. I think she's
Well,
always been.
she knows what goes on in Hollywood. She's been in the showbiz forever. So I mean,
Yes.
she.
But okay, so
she's
so
got the
how
insight.
is it that some people can talk about this stuff and they're okay talking about this stuff? It's just, I don't know. It just makes you wonder. I mean, it also makes me realize and think that when Q started dropping, that a lot of this stuff was already taken care of. Otherwise, they'd be giving away too much, and then that could affect the plan. So, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on this, Marin?
Yeah, go, Marin. You go.
You go.
Well,
girl.
I think some people are. I don't know. I think that some people are pushed out on purpose to wake up certain like demographics of people. I think some are in witness protection. I think a lot, at this point, people who are being like silenced or killed or whatever, I'm not sure if they really are being killed or if they are going into some sort of witness protection. But what were you going to say, Delphine?
I was going to say that I love Roseanne, so I love her and I watch her show. So I didn't mean to diss her, but I think she's a kick ass and I love her. I believe that she says that her stories that she really did sell her soul, but she found God. And I feel like she's working with the Alliance and all the people that are speaking out, like Megyn Kelly and all these people. I feel that we're watching a movie and these people are working with the Alliance and they've given their shows for disclosure. Like they're working with the disclosure. So people like the Roseannes, the Megyn Kellys, the Dan Bonginos, all these people are part of disclosure. What do you guys think?
Right. Well, I'm just glad that we were never that we're doing this from the perspective that we are, that we weren't thrust into the spotlight, any of us, in this way, and then having to navigate it from that level. Like we're all, yeah, we're creatives and into the arts and all that, but it's nice to never have been privy to that crap, because I don't know. I mean,
Yes.
part of the reason I bring up the reading thing is 3 years ago when Scott and I were down in Shasta, I got a reading done, and it basically stated that I was it was about 5 lifetimes ago, about 250 years ago. I don't remember any of this. And I was 8 years old, and I died in a cave with these, with creepy crawlies around me and stuff like that. And when I heard that, it's like things made sense. That's why when I heard about the trafficking, that I just believed it right away. And so I'm glad I don't have a lot of memories of that, but I think it's great to just be able to be ourselves, and we don't have like people questioning, why were they this and who were they for that, and I think that's why maybe some of us aren't in those circles, or we don't interview those folks because they're not ready to have that crossover quite yet. So it's really cool to build these shows with with people such as Lady D and Marin, because we don't know that world, but it doesn't matter. We can be beacons of light and bring hope whether we're part of that or not. But I don't know. It's hard to trust any of those people like the Russell Brands and the Roseannes. It's hard to trust them fully because we don't really know what we're watching. Even Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan. Like, it's so convenient that certain topics, guests come up when they do. Like, no one tells Scott and I what we're going to have on our show. It comes from what we want. There's no one writing that. So hopefully, I think in time, people are going to be more drawn to that than watching kind of some curated type of something for the masses. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
In a while.
And, we talked about this too, Joe, you and I being in the entertainment industry, and also you, Scott. I'm a singer. I was in bands. I did acting. I danced. And especially when I was involved, friends with Clono. Yeah, Clono. I always wondered, like, why I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm so close. Why am I in it? And thank God, can you imagine if we got in the if we got into Hollywood? Like, all this time we were thinking, what's wrong? Why can't we get this break? But we were never meant to. We were meant to do this.
We would have been taken out immediately.
Yeah.
Exactly, because we're of the light and we're not demonic. We would have never sold our souls. Yeah. We were, exactly. So it was a blessing in disguise.
It was. It was.
I think that's why there's so many one-hit wonders, because they understand what's going on, and then they don't want to sell their soul, and then you never hear from them again. Like, people who won't do the things that they want them to do, they're like, no, I don't want any part of this. So that's just my opinion.
I've never thought of that. That's a good, like, the one-hit wonders. I never thought of that.
I think it's because they saw what they would have to do to be famous, and they were like, hell no, and they ran the other way.
Yeah, exactly. So we're on the forefront, folks. I mean, if you notice, like, we are the media, we are entertainment, we are everything now. The common people we're the celebrities, and we know that Hollywood's going down, the music industry. I mean, look at the sports industry. I mean, the NBA is part of it. I think the only sport that's really not part of it is hockey. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know any NHL, but everything else, like basketball, baseball, football, all part of it. What do you guys think?
I think I love to play sports, but I never enjoyed watching sports.
Boring. Me neither.
Yeah, the only sport I liked was hockey, because it was huge where I grew up. You were either a figure skater or a hockey player. So I loved hockey growing up because I was a figure skater. So.
Oh. Yeah, I was going to ask, where were you? But I figured it was probably figure skater. There's something beautiful about that.
Scott and I worked at a hotel in Utah, and we wore outfits that looked like figure skaters.
Like Blades of Glory, that movie.
we thought it was we thought we were working at the coolest bar in Park City, at the nicest hotel. The bar's pewter.
$600 nights every night.
Beautiful.
Celebrities everywhere, and there were.
And they give us, I'll have to see if I have a picture in here. They give us our emasculating ice skater tops that look like side of a tuxedo with a little frill. And it's just emasculating fucking shirts.
Like the puppy shirt from Seinfeld.
You got the tour, right? And this is a $500 million resort with the most amazing view you've ever seen in your life. And I mean, it caters to the 1/10 of 1%. I mean, like, the average vacation there is $43,000.
Right.
For a few days. And oh yeah, a spectacular place. And we're thinking black shirts, gray slacks, something kind of sexy. What we're used to, we've done a lot of this. And then we get brown slacks and a cream shirt that's sort of like the collar bullshit with some frilliness to it.
I'm gonna see if I have a picture.
With a gold vest, just not one of me.
Okay, but, I'll show it of me. That's fine.
So bad.
He's just like me, you, but not me.
I would have quit immediately. I told him. I mean, it went from like a very promising job to like this cult where, they did this pep rally where they're banging these balloons together, and these really dignified people are doing really undignified things. And it's just like, I'm too invested in this to leave. I have to stick this out, but my God, I can't wear those clothes. And
I don't know if I
yeah,
see
it
one.
was
I might have.
maybe that's good for everybody. I don't know, but yeah,
Looking like Todd Hamilton.
and I feel like I'm like being raped. It's just like this is so awful, and I don't know. I thought about abandoning it like the entire time. Do you remember that conversation we had in the locker room?
Oh yeah, completely. I
It was demoralizing as hell.
It was
really
demoralizing.
Yeah.
It
But,
really was.
I mean, we did not see that coming at all because we were told it would be black shirts and gray slacks. Something dignified, kind of sexy.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and
This was not sexy.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
but you're sexy now.
Not cute. They're not masculine.
It's so funny the things. Now that we're here at this precipice of our life, you think back at all the things that we've done, and just to make a buck. Didn't it suck?
Well, I never sucked. I never did that. But
I've worked
I
at all different types of
I
bars.
haven't
A
either.
lot of
I
money,
haven't
but some
either.
of them,
I painted a
Some
lot
of
of
the bars I
houses
worked at were
and
pretty sus.
sprung a few hammers. I mean, I've been in the mud. Yeah, but
Just the things we've had to do. All right, I'm going to do readings on you guys, but before I do readings, I just want to get your take. And Marin and I have talked about this. Is it your impression, Joe and Scott, that we are watching a movie and that we really shouldn't get caught up in all the politics because we kind of know we had the cheat sheet and we kind of know how it's gonna end. And now's the time that maybe we should do things like that. Like we should band together in groups with like-minded people, join together, help people out, get in tune with our creative side. What do you say? What do you say, boys?
I say what I've come to find is that the part of you that's participating in this life right here that feels like all consuming, you can't see beyond it, is about 1% of you. There's so much more of you. There's so much more of your consciousness operating elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I've kind of gotten to see this firsthand. So I feel pretty grounded in saying it. It's always been an illusion. To what degree, I'm not sure. Part of the problem is we're the ones making it real. I mean, we're the ones co-creating our reality. We're making it real. We're doing that. And the problems that we have encountered have been some interlopers that have manipulated our ability to co-create our world. So we co-created it for them. And we've been doing this over and over and over again for a very long time. And it's just time for that to end. So
What
that's where
say you, Joe? I totally agree with everything you said, Scott. It was so eloquently put. We've been doing this for eons. There's so many times that we almost ascended and we didn't get there. Now's the time. This is our time. And the whole universe, there's galactics, there's spiritual beings, there's ETs, everyone's watching us. And we always thought that, we were insignificant. But imagine all the beings, like we are the center of the galaxy right now, us. And all these galactic beings think that we're kicking ass because we were brave enough to be down here in this demonic, dark, disgusting planet.
Well
So,
said.
we've
epic.
got more potential than any other beings. I mean, from what I understand, we're the culmination of 22 different species over a very, very long timeline. I have vague memories of working with plasma in the most creative of ways. I think we've all been. I did a past life regression with my friend Lisa Schimmerhorn, and I'd never done anything like that at all. I don't even know if it was a past life regression per se, but it felt like about 20 minutes long, and it was 2 hours long, and I was on this spaceship. I won't get into all the details, but the point is, I saw things that I was intimately familiar with as a memory, And when I asked Gene Decode about it, he's like, "Oh yeah, that was the Pyramid Wars. You watched Tiamat explode. It was very traumatic." Yeah, he was so, as a matter of fact, about it too. It's funny.
Gene's I love Gene. He's a big part of my awakening.
Yeah.
He's
So-
great. I like him. I like him. What say you, Joe, about what Scott just said?
Well, I mean, I agree.
Tron.
What's that?
Tron suit.
Tron suit. Yeah. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah. So, I agree with it. As far as the movie part, I think we are watching a movie, yet at the same time, there's a 3D reality going on where people are there's still real effects of whether it's the what or I mean, if people are out there, I don't know how much of it's orchestrated, if these are all these people really stupid enough, just like the people that watch the DEI stuff and like, oh, now they've got, the transgender guy doing the Budweiser thing. That doesn't seem to be going well. Now let's go ahead and paint a truck with those colors. And now let's have Target put children's clothing on sale. That's the like, is that really real? Is that orchestrated? I think a lot of that's orchestrated, but the people going there and shopping, for them, that's real. They're either buying that stuff or not. Are there really that many people going out and doing the swastikas on the Teslas? Really? Or is some of that orchestrated or CGI? Like, how much of this is fully manipulated? I don't know, but I'll say that there's certain family members that are still not very aware to what's going on. So it's kind of a combination of a movie and I don't know whether people are awake or brainwashed or wherever they're at. It's like choose your own adventure in some way. And it's really still challenging for us to see people so trapped in the matrix. We did Scott and I did a live event a couple weeks ago, and we literally had a woman. This is the best part of what Scott and I do. There was a woman that came up and she said, "Thank you guys so much for having this event. I think you guys saved my life."
Well, we've heard that over and over.
Like, how do you get better than that?
Yeah.
You don't.
Like that, and that's really why we do the show.
We can't stop.
You can't stop when people say that to you. Now, was she really going to do something? I don't know, but she was so at her wits' end being in Seattle and not having someone to talk to. And I grabbed her and I said, "You come over here. You need to meet her. Here's our cards. Write your phone numbers on them. Now you have someone to talk to, and let's keep this tribe going." And we're still figuring out what our next event's going to be. But that's why we do the show. When you're doing that, that's life changing. That's life saving. That's amazing.
There's no better job.
There's no better job. Yeah. I mean, if that's the pay, then we're billionaires.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We won.
That's happened over and over and over. I mean, that's not just the one person. There have been lots of people that have said this kind of community that we created has really saved their lives. And I mean, what higher calling is there?
None. Not just saving their lives physically. Just think about all the people that would be alone. We would literally, I would be alone if I didn't have you guys. Seriously, I have my family, but after I got married and I moved around a lot. I moved to Vegas. I lived all around Canada. I lived in Colorado, and just think about so many people that are awake. And just like I said, none of my family, they're not fully awake. I'm getting there. They're Trump lovers, and they were always Republican. So they're sort of awake. And those people were really they're getting better. But just think about how so many people would feel so alone. And there's been a lot of depression and anxiety, especially with people that are like us. We all have psychic abilities. Like every single person that's watching this channel, watching this show right now, you're psychic. We all have that ability. This is part of, it's part of our material, our makeup. We were never meant to be disconnected to our source, to our divine power. And
Right.
so we are the rock stars now, and what we're doing is so important. And I truly believe that even though we've all struggled and we've all been broke and we've all gone through shit, that we are going to be rewarded because we're doing the right thing. So we're going to have the last laugh. Trust me, we are.
Absolutely.
I love how
Yeah.
Marin just threw herself together to just spontaneously come on board, and she's got this turquoise glow behind her.
I know. I
Like,
know.
more polished
My
than any.
crystal ball.
Thank you. So, I know. So, Marin, you're very intuitive too. How do you feel about this? Do you think we're watching a show, and what do you think's going to transpire in the next month? She's she's been manifesting and she's tuned in. She doesn't read cards, but she's very psychic, Miss Marin.
On it.
Over to
think-
you, Marin.
You know, I've always
Yeah.
been really good. What's that?
No,
I said
keep
over
going.
to you, Marin.
Oh, I've always been very good. So my boyfriend gets mad because when we watch a movie, I can predict the ending like right away. I'll be like, "This happened. Oh, he's the killer," and he'll be like, "Shut up." So like, I've always felt like since 2020, since learning about 17 and all of that. I don't know if you can say that on here, but I've always thought it was so
anything.
obvious. I've always thought it was so obviously a movie. Like it's just. That's just what I see from the higher perspective. I feel like it is, like I've said to you, Delphine, it's not really for us. It's for, you know, it's a slow drip to wake up humanity in a slow way, which is kind of painful for us who aren't even aware of these things. But I understand also like that it can't just all come out at once. But yeah, to me, I feel like it's like an inner knowing that I can't explain. Like I do feel like I'm pretty claircognizant, like an inner knowing without knowing how. And yeah, I think it's 100% a movie. I do.
Marin,
I don't have any doubt in my mind.
how did you meet your boyfriend? And for the audience, her boyfriend is ridiculously handsome fellow. You know, he's clearly got his shit together.
A man's man.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
No soy boy, not a soy boy at all. No, no, no.
Well,
no.
so it's funny because when we met, he was living with a friend of mine in their extra room, and she just said like, "You have a lot in common." And this was like right in 2020 when I was getting into all this stuff, and I was like, I do not want a boyfriend, and he's a little bit younger than me, so I was like, no, like, but you know, we have a lot of similar pasts. You know, we both kind of had addictive personalities, struggled with like substance abuse, and the gym kind of like saved both of our lives. So we had that in common, and we hung out one day, and we haven't stopped hanging out since, and it's been about 5 years. So
Oh.
yeah,
So cool. So cool.
yeah, he's my best friend. So
He seems like a really cool cat.
yeah,
And he's
we're
awake.
we're a good match. He's
Awesome.
also a fire sign too, so it can, you know, it can get a little fiery, but it's good. He has a lot of water in his chart too, which I do not, so it balances out.
Nice.
Marin, how do you see disclosure playing out? How do you see it? If you were to guess.
You know, I don't know. For the longest time, I really did think the EBS was going to happen. I go back and forth with it still. I think that we're in the middle of it now. You know, the truth is out there, and it has been. You know, some of these things I learned in 2012. You know, it's been out there. It's just a lot of people don't want to look. They have cognitive dissonance, you know, and that's another drop. The choice to know will be yours. You know, I think we're in the middle of it now. You know, it's coming out more and more on the mainstream. But what they do, I think, is they put things out there, and then they don't want to spoon feed people, because they want people to do their own research. Because like I always say, you know, one rabbit hole leads to 100 more. And once you start researching something, it leads to so many other things. And that's how we all learn discernment. And when we're in the midst of all that research and we're going down this rabbit hole, that it leads to that and that, if you just spoon feed the truth to somebody, in one day on mainstream news, like that doesn't really teach them anything. So I think they drop certain things out there, and whether people believe it or not, it starts conversations and it gets people talking about it. And then it gets people researching things, whether they think it's true or a conspiracy. It's still getting people talking. And I think that's kind of the point, because it will make them do their own research. So I think we're in the middle of it now. And how long it's going to play out, I don't know. It seems like it's been an eternity already, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe in the EBS anymore. Like, I know people don't want to hear that. I really don't know. Like, I don't know how it would work, because literally the next day, like, everything would have to change. Think of, the millions, think of hospitals alone. That's only one tiny part of disclosure. If they came out and said all of this stuff, think of the millions of people just sitting in hospitals. Like, they would be like, oh my God, I'm being poisoned. Like, I feel like there would be utter chaos and riots and who knows, but I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. I think there would have to be some sort of, like, I always thought it would be like a lockdown or martial law or something where people couldn't really leave their houses. That's where I think the scare event necessary comes in, perhaps. I don't know. What do you think? What do you guys think?
I think it's a lot smoother than we thought it was going to be. I think, it's kind of funny. I have this conversation with my mom a lot, because I've been having this conversation with her since about 2016. And I've laid all this stuff out, and I'm like, Mom, didn't I tell you this would happen, that would happen, this would happen? And what did I tell you would happen in the end? It's going to be turbulent. And I explained all the things. And I mean, every single one of those things from that time has come to pass, and remarkably, like, it detailed, like, right there. So she's just sort of like, well, yeah, you did. And yeah, it happened. And it kind of keeps her going. I mean, my mom's 86.
Well,
and she keeps thinking she's going to die. And I'm like, hang in there for a minute, Mom, because you're probably going to be, 50 again. And, that was her favorite age. So,
well, think of this, like, our parents, the working class, our parents are in their 70s and 80s. Their view of success is, they want to see you with a job and you got your 401k and your insurance and you're all set up. So it's probably a bit challenging. I know it was for my dad, but as my dad passed about 4.5 years ago, and he was really getting into Dave at the X22 report. But it's challenging from their perspective, to probably watch what we do, and as we're struggling and we're doing what we're doing, and this has become a full-time thing, for them to think, okay, you're on the right track because you're working hard, but you're not really making anything. So it's really got to be a challenge for our mothers, because both of our fathers have passed, to completely, in some ways, support what it is that we do. But I think that there's this understanding that they have as these things unfold, and they're seeing that maybe we're less and less crazy than we thought we were a few years ago. Because that's a lot. I mean, I'm really passionate. It's really hard for me sometimes to be around my family members and my mom, and it's just like, because I'm very, very driven by results. And only I really know what the result. Like, this show is a beautiful result. I know what it's taken to have a show like this line up the way that it has. Yeah, it kind of is organic, but at the same time, to have you two on the show where Marin may not really want to be in front of the camera as much, to have Lady D come off an amazing show about Bono where she didn't feel comfortable talking about that subject matter unless it was someone that two of us, especially I'm going to see U2 16 times, and it takes a lot for a show like this to culminate, and that this is a beautiful success. But some people may not understand what it took for this to happen the way that it is. And so that's part of my point. It's like, I already view what we're doing as really, really successful, although it doesn't fall into what success is in the old paradigm of, well, you know, it's making money and doing this. But this is a beautiful moment to just be doing a show like this. It's very successful.
Yeah, there's the illusory part, right? I
Right.
mean, everything that we were chasing or told to chase is bullshit. I mean, there's never been security. There's only been
Exactly.
illusion of security. You know, and I would trade security in a minute to be awake right now, you know, and to have the experience I'm having right now. I can't imagine the hell that so many people are in where they don't know which end is up. They know it doesn't make sense, but they have to nod along and they have to worry about what other people think and so on and so. That sounds like an absolute living hell. And
Right.
Oh, I know.
none of us are experiencing that, right? Especially Marin
Look,
with her
and
finger up.
look at the smile on Lady D's face now. Like, and now Marin's like,
Yeah.
what more do you need than that? I mean, it's incredible.
I love it. This is like such an epic show. And you're right. I love everything, the old paradigm. We were taught that success is based on what? Money. Money is bullshit. It means nothing. It's paper. And literally, it literally means nothing now. So we are so successful. Think about it. We've been taught that. You know what I love? That people like us, we've been struggling. We've been beaten down by life, told we're crazy, having to, like you, Joe, there are many times I had to go back to my parents' house because failed relationships and this and that. But finally, we're at a point now, and I feel that everyone on the screen agrees with me that, do we have a lot of money in our bank account? No. Are our lives perfect? No. But don't you feel so empowered? And don't you know, I'm finally arrived. I'm doing what I'm
Yes.
supposed to do. I feel like I am living my purpose and my passion. And you notice how when you're doing that, how everything falls into place.
Yeah, I always try to tell myself that we're like, I'm so abundant in so many ways, maybe not my bank account, but in every other way, health is wealth, being conscious in this spiritual war is, to me, the most wealth that you can have.
Right.
It is a war on
Look at the
consciousness.
love. Right. Sorry, listen, feel about the abundance of love in this chat and on the screen and on the people around the world. I mean, it's amazing. You think how lucky we are that we get to reach around the world. So we are doing some phenomenal things. And I just love that, we all we probably would never have met in real life if it wasn't for this. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, like a lot of these apps, were used for psychological warfare, and I love that we flip the script and we use their apps against them. We find our soul tribe, we find like-minded people. I think a lot of the times they try to make us feel like we're the minority with all of these. I think Instagram is like, over probably 60% bots, and they want us to feel like, everyone's still going along with all of this crazy crap that they're showing on the mainstream. But I really feel like we're not as much of a minority as we think we are. Like, people are waking up. Of course, we still all have those family members who are, part of the asleep, but I think there's a lot more people out there than they lead on, for sure.
Right.
I was just talking to my friend Cameron, and he's like, Scott, you're just so happy. He said, you're just, I don't know any happy people. You're really, truly happy. And I thought about it, and I'm like, well, fuck, I guess I am.
Yeah.
I don't have financial security. I don't have, things laid out in the way that someone my age probably should, and so on. But my God, I am. I'm really happy, and part of that is dodging responsibility, and part of that is no, I'm kidding. It's just being present for what's really going on, and I'm starting to see the fatigue on people that they've been playing along with the illusion, and they know it's an illusion, but they don't know what the alternative is, so they just keep going, and they feel like they're getting crazier and crazier, and that's happening more and more to folks on the left.
Wait a sec. I dated Lady D. Tell Joe hi. He dated my best friend in high school. I lived across the street. He was a great guy back then in the late 80s.
Oh, you know Phil?
What?
Do you know who it was? Do you know the chick? Do you know the lady?
Second. Wait, I'm wondering who. Okay, my best friend in high school. Well, I only really had one girlfriend in high school named Nicole, but there was one girl named Karen. I'm wondering who. Okay, the Giving Soul. Who's your friend?
It's our
R.O.
Bro.
Nicole.
Oh, those are the initials.
Other than it, so okay, just it's you know me, Nicole.
I mean,
that's Nicole.
well, Nicole is the girl I dated.
I wonder-
Nicole. Oh, Ro. Oh, so Nicole was your best friend in high school.
Yes, Nicole was
Oh.
her best friend. Yes,
Wow. How did she find us?
for me, I guess she's
What?
my
Small world.
She's
And this
part
goes
of my
into
tribe.
another rabbit hole
What's
that
up,
the world
bro?
might not be as big as they say. There might not be as many people in the world as they say, you know?
Wow.
yeah. I guess apparently Nicole, your ex-girlfriend, was her best friend, and she
Yeah.
said that you were a nice guy back then too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. So yeah, it was tough because when Nicole and I met, I'll just give a little bit more about when Nicole and I met, we were each other's first everything. And
Oh.
you know, but I was 2 years older, and so I went to junior college, and she, you know, and then she was still at high school, and then by my second year in junior college, I went down on a road trip to California because I had some credits that I got in the summer, and I got this letter, and it was a bit heartbreaking, but it was basically letting me know that things weren't really going to be the same anymore. And so it was challenging at the time, and I love Nicole's mom. Nicole and I were like the Nordstrom. So Nicole's mom ran the Nordstrom's Cosmetics, right, in Tacoma Mall. Like, her mom is legendary. Blanky, everyone knew Blanky. She was from Cuba. She had an amazing accent. And I was dating Blanky's daughter. I mean, it felt like I was so happy and confident in my life because I was dating Nicole, and Blanky was, you know, like, everyone loved Blanky, and we both worked at Nordstrom together. And, you know, I mean, I just thought that we were going to have like this amazing life together, and you know, it didn't work out. And it's, you know, looking back on it, I couldn't have been who I am, and she could have been who she was.
What?
No, not Phil. Without, you know, going through that. But no, I adored Nicole. Nicole was like my first everything. So that's so cool that Ro's here.
Wow.
What a small world, huh? She was
Yeah.
one of my subscribers. What a small world. It's good to know that you've always been a nice guy. You can tell. You can tell you always been. You can tell that you've always been.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. That's so cool that's so cool.
That's crazy. Well, that's the theme song at Disney. It's a small world after all. Like, that's another
That's
rabbit
right.
hole too, I swear. Like, people
Wow.
That's right.
like people run into their neighbors like in other countries. It's crazy.
Folks, I just want to do a time check-in. We're going over 2.5 hours. Are you guys good? Because I don't want to like.
Started, Toots.
Okay, all right. You tell me when you. I mean, I could go on for a long time.
Let's do the readings.
All right, good. Let's
How
do
is
the
it
readings.
still light out where you guys are? I'm just like, how is it light out where you?
Because you two emanate so much light from the screen that the sun's still up.
It's 3 hours
That's
behind
crazy.
you.
It's been pitch black here since 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
They're in
it's only
Washington
7 o'clock here.
It gets dark
Oh,
around 9.
that's right. I forget. You're 3 hours. 3 hours before. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do the readings now. So how do we want to do this? Do we want to do specific questions, or do you guys want me to do a general reading? I'll do a general reading on Joe, Scott, and Marin, but do you guys want me to do a general? I said I'm going to do, but do you want me to focus on a certain topic, or do you want me to just see what happens?
I think seeing what happens sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Who
I
wants
asked
to go
you a
first?
question on your on the show you were on earlier today. I had asked a question, but you guys had so many So I don't think
Okay,
we
let's
got
do
too.
your question, Marin. Let's do your question, and
But
then
I
I'll
think
get
we
to the
should do
boys.
general
Ladies
for
first.
we can
I'll be
do
right
general for everybody too. But all I asked was about, you know, how I just keep feeling to hermit like year after year after year. And then I asked, you know, is 2025 the year that I'm supposed to kind of get over my crap and come out more into the limelight and, you know, use my voice, which I know we're
Okay.
all supposed to. But it's like I'll be consistent for like a couple weeks and then I just go back to like never uploading again. And I don't know. I'm feeling like this year I'm finally feeling like I need to kind of step out right now. Like so many of us are feeling that.
I can already say that, yeah, but I'm going to see what I get. So, Holy God, in the name of Yeshua the Christ, is this the year that Marin steps out into the limelight and steps out and comes into her power and stops hiding and stops being the hermit and comes out fully and embraces who she is, her mission, and what she needs to do? What say you, Holy God, Holy Spirit of God, in Yeshua? It's, believe it or not, you're such a powerhouse like I am, but it is confidence, Marin. I don't know why you, and this is intuitively, I don't know why you doubt yourself. You got to stop doubting yourself, hon. You're more powerful and you're more intuitive than you know. I feel like it has nothing to do with, I mean, your boyfriend's lovely and he's wonderful, but I feel like I'm getting the people like your family and the people in your life that were part of your past really did took a big dump on your confidence. You know what I mean? But
Oh yeah,
right
that
now,
resonates. My
yeah,
family, I don't know about your families if they watch your guys' content.
no,
I wanted to ask
nobody
that earlier,
watches
but
me.
you
My
know,
husband
I
never
don't
watched me. My family doesn't give a shit. Go ahead,
know
honey.
me either. But you know how me and you talk about like we know what people think about us even if they don't say it. I could probably
Yes,
bet money that my family, it's the complete opposite of how I feel. They think I make YouTube videos because I want to be famous. Like I just know that they think that. And like that's exactly why I'm not consistent because that's the last thing that I want. So I just think it's funny because you know how people only see you as far as they've met themselves, and you know,
exactly. They only can meet you with the consciousness and the mentality on where they are in their lives. Absolutely. So honey, you are absolutely meant to step out and shine. Okay. This is you right now. This is the hermit. And this is you coming out, the 10 of Pentacles. So this is your year. This is the year of completion. Everything that you've gone through, and I'm getting especially, Marin, that you need to talk more about how you got out of your addiction and sobriety because there are many people that are going through it now. And um, you need to talk about your story more because I feel that, and correct me if I'm wrong, the thing that got through you most was your spirituality. That's what got you through. And there are
yeah.
many people that are suffering right now. And I feel that your calling, you're not just you're just not meant to shine. You're meant to be like me and get put it all out there, everything that you've been through, all the muck and mire, because your story is going to inspire a lot of people. This is your year to shine, and I keep on getting that. You need to really talk about that and how your spirituality, your connection to the divine brought you out of it, and how when you were stuck in those addictions, how it disconnected you from your soul. So I'm
Oh
telling you
yeah.
that's your thing. And you're meant to empower people and help take that story and pull people up. You have so many divine gifts. You're very, very psychic. And I got the Hierophant, and the Hierophant is about you're a teacher as well. Everyone on the screen's a teacher. Okay. We know that Joe and Scott were actual teachers, but what I'm getting now is that we're culminating everything that we've been through, every struggle, everything, and we're here now to teach. So you're apt that you're coming into your power. You're absolutely coming into your power. And I'm also getting to that with your family. That is you have a bloodline where there's something with your father, Marin, that there was something with your father on your father's side, and there's some kind of emotional stagnation. And I feel that even if you feel like you're not the generational curse breaker in your family, you totally are. Even if there are people in your family that you're not speaking with right now and you're not connecting with, your presence and you being who you are, you're breaking that generational curse. So you're absolutely meant to step in your power. You're supposed to get on screen and lay it out and tell it like it is. Don't hold back. Fuck your parents. Fuck what happened in the past. Now's your time to shine, sister. And I got the Eight of Cups. That means walking away from your past. And the Death card is total change. That means that you need to come out, sister. You've been hiding too long. It's time for you to come
Yeah.
out.
Well, that resonates because that's literally, I get signs from God like every day telling me to get back and use my voice, and I'm just like, "Ooh." So yeah, you're spot on with my dad too, because he's a lot more awake than he leads on, and he's had some spiritual experiences too, so that's interesting. You have a gift, Delphine.
Thank you. But your father's holding back, and I wonder why. Because he has a lot of your. It's funny because I usually in families the psychic gift comes from the mother, but with you, I'm getting your father has a big psychic gift.
Yeah, well, he's 72 now and stuck in his ways, you know, that generation. So it's my mom passed away 2 years ago. They were together 50 years, and he just
Oh,
wants to be with her. He wants to be with her,
oh.
so he's just kind of like over Earth right now, I think. But yeah, he's a lot more aware of things than he leads on, for sure. Definitely.
I wish you could tell them to hold on, because like I tell my parents, hold on, the ascension, you're not going to die yet. It's like these people that are old, they think they're going to die, and it's like you don't have to die.
Yeah.
Tell my mom all the time. Yeah.
Exactly. So does that resonate with you, Marin? You do have to come out. You do. I'm gonna bring you on this channel more too. So we're gonna get
If
you
only
out
there
into the
were a couple
spotlight.
shows that could support Marin stepping into her.
Well, Maren, yeah, I mean, with you being a teacher, I mean, I can't tell you how many times you've influenced my day. Like, like
Oh,
very, very often, actually, and it's quite inspiring and it's awesome. And yeah, just what you're
Thanks.
doing. Yeah, I mean, it really has an effect. So I can only imagine how many other people you're affecting, but you are in a big way. You have a massive energy, and
Thank you. I
it, it
think I think a lot of my issues stem from, I'm the youngest in my family, so I was, it's always childhood wounds, is it not? Like it's always these childhood wounds that follow us, and I've really been trying to work on it for many years, but it's like I feel like I'm the oldest soul in my family incarnated in the youngest, and my family could write the book on birth order. It's like to a T. I'm the least taken serious. They'll always look at me as little Marin, like it's just how it is. So that's like a subconscious thing that's hard to remove. It's like nobody, really, they don't know how to respond to me not being little like brat Marin when I was little, or 20-year-old drunk hot mess Marin. Like they don't know how to see beyond that. So if I get deep and if I get spiritual, it's crickets back. They don't, and don't get me wrong, like my family is amazing. I'm not bashing them in any way. It's just they don't know how to, like they don't know how to see me in my true self. Like I've always felt like my family knows me the least amount of anybody, which is very backwards. But yeah, so it does resonate. Thank you.
well,
well,
I don't know
I
if you watched the Pirates of the Caribbean movie with Calypso, where they pull her out of the swamp and then she becomes like this huge thing or whatever. But I remember watching that scene in that movie and thinking, "Oh, that's Marin."
Yeah.
This massive, massive force. This tiny little package. It was pretty. Yeah.
That's funny.
yeah, you do. I mean, well, obviously you're absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you look like a supermodel, but better, like you're a woman.
Oh,
Oh,
wow. Well, I mean, I love that you went there because
supermodel without a dick. Wow.
supermodel without an Adam's apple,
That's right. You're an actual woman,
right?
and you
Victoria's
do.
Secret. Their secret.
That's right. And you keep it real. You keep it real. So yes, you need to come out. Well, I mean, you're gonna be coming on my channel. I'm gonna just make it an open forum on Saturday nights. Whoever wants to come on and join me and party can come on.
I love it.
Yes, and I need to have you guys all on my channel, if I ever start being consistent. I really want to be, but I definitely want you guys on my channel as well. I haven't put up a video in so long.
Anytime.
Yes.
No, I mean, if you can't tell by now, we love you, Marin.
We're Marin fans. We only see
love
like
you guys. You guys.
we only see like
love
Marin as this radiant being. We don't see all the other.
Yeah, you were reluctant to come on the first time, and what was that? 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, I'm so nervous. I get nervous doing my own video. I don't know what my deal is, but I think I can like feel. Even if I'm in a room by myself, like I can like feel the people, we're potentially speaking to thousands of people. And I think I can feel that because I'm so sensitive to energy that I just get like, I can't do it. But
I trick myself.
I need to get over it. I need to get
I
over
hear
it.
you.
And I love you guys because you're all so authentic. Like I grew up in a really tiny town, where everybody knew everybody. And so I'm really like drawn to people who are just down to earth and themselves. Like none of you guys are fake, and I can see that. Like you are like, you get like, I don't know how to say it. Like you get who you are. You know what I mean? Like you're not faking. You guys are. There's no mask. Like you guys are just authentically yourselves, and I love that about all three of you.
Well, let me tell you, when during the Truth Tour and so on. I mean, Joe, there's no audience too big for Joe. I mean, he's a ham. He's great in front of the camera.
He's a rock star. He's a rock star, Joe.
Yeah, and I'm like, the empath thing really kicks in hard in a crowd because I'm starting to hear other people's thoughts.
He spent all this time on his notes and just got everything ready.
Feeling everybody's emotions is very distracting.
And then he lost it.
I don't know what happened. I couldn't find any of my notes. Yeah. And it's a good thing because it would have been a disaster if I had them. But yeah, I got comfortable with it ish, sort of. I know sometimes there's thousands of people watching, but it's a disconnect.
When we're on other people's
When you're
shows.
looking them in the eye and they're out there in the crowd and they're nodding along and you're just like, oh.
Oh, I know. Public speaking's like one of my biggest fears. That's why when you guys said October, I was like, I'll come, but I don't know if I'll speak.
Yeah.
No, you'll speak. And Lady D will be there as well. We're gonna have an amazing
Lady D, you should
event
totally
in
fly
Sarasota.
down.
We don't know where.
Yeah,
I'm there. I'm there. I'm there.
Marin's house.
What's that? Yeah.
We're just gonna do it at your house.
Yeah. No.
Oh my God. All right. Who's next on the block?
I'll go.
All right. Do you want a general reading or specific topic?
I think just general reading for now.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll start with that.
Okay. Holy God, in the name of Yeshua, can I get a general reading for Joe? What can Joe expect in the near future? Anything and everything. Let's say you, Holy God, in Yeshua, the Christ. Ooh. Well, the thing that fell out is so funny is the Six of Pentacles. So money's coming your way. I almost feel like TruthStream's going to get a big sponsorship. That's what I think.
We may already have.
Something's in the works, but that's fantastic.
Well, you're going to get it.
You haven't already. You have so many guests.
Hey, the fact that I just fucking said that, you're getting your sponsorship.
Thanks, doll.
I love it.
You're the best.
Seriously, Six of Pentacles. I mean, I said that's very specific. So, you're getting it. You're getting
That's
it.
beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's nice to hear.
Getting it. And I'm telling you, you guys, you're shooting up. So you're getting your sponsorship, Joe. Oh my God, Joe. There's a love coming in your life. Ace of Cups.
Hey.
Ooh.
I hope that's with myself finally.
Oh, what, Joe? These are epic. You're on. Okay. I have to calm down. I'm so excited for you. You've got the Ace of Cups. So I do think that you're going to meet your girl this year. But this is also, Ace of Cups is a new beginning in creativity. So you're going to be writing music. You're going to get back into your creativity. And like I said, you and I, we're going to take back the music industry. And I think you and I are going to be doing some things with music. We're going to be singing. We're going to be doing stuff, and you're going to be doing stuff. You're going to get back to your roots of creating and getting back. I mean, you're going to be doing what you're doing now, but I do think that you're also going to be performing more on TruthStream and doing more of your creative things. Ace of Wands, this means you're moving in a new direction. I mean, this is epic. Epic. I just feel like the next month is going to be completely the trajectory of your life. So the Ace of Wands is moving in a new direction. It's spark. It's a new beginning. So I feel like what we were talking about before the show. Remember how we said that we keep on feeling we're stalled, and believe it or not, Joe and I said it's so hard. It's sad that we're not used to success and we're happy. We're not used to being happy and successful. Well, get used to it because you're going to be very happy and very successful. This is divine intervention. Everything that you've gone through, all the struggles, all the bullshit, all the brokenness, all the the betrayals. It's like, this is your year, brother. This is your fucking year. I'm telling you.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Nice.
That's
Four of Pentacles, it gets better. Public recognition, limelight. TruthStream is going to be, you guys are going to explode this year.
wow.
Okay. Yep. And one last one. High Priestess.
About
So,
time.
about time. I know you guys have been on for a while and you deserve it. Like, I just feel like
Yeah.
you are just going to, and I'm talking within the next month or so. And the sponsorship is really going to take you where you guys need to go. And the last card I got was the High Priestess. So Joe, make sure you meditate and get into your whatever you do, nature. You've got a lot of great nature in there. I'm getting that. I also feel too that if you spend more time in nature, I'm getting that there's going to be, like, you have an epic song coming, and it's going to be just come to you, and within a day. And this song is going to be
A
the
banger.
song that puts you on the map.
Wow.
Nice. Costa Rica.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, wow. I'm kind of speechless. That's pretty amazing. Thank
But
you
you
for that.
kind of already knew that, didn't you?
I mean, I don't know about that.
Well,
but
I've been telling you anyway. But it's like, he's like my mom. I can tell him all day long.
It's easy. I know we're all humble. It's like, it's easy to tell people how great and wonderful they are than to do it for themselves, to
Oh,
say yourself. So yeah. Yep.
oh,
But I think that's unbelievable that I said you're getting sponsorship and it's in the works. I mean, that was very specific. So that was
that's
kind
very
of cool.
specific.
Yeah.
The
Wow.
cards don't lie.
They don't lie. So, yeah, your girl. And when you meet her, I'll do a reading on her to make sure it's the one, because we don't want any putanas or bad people. I got to make sure my bro gets a good girl.
Well, I will be screening this time. And
Good.
I'm
Please
going to
do.
be a little more
Please do.
overt than I used to be, because I let a lot of things happen I shouldn't have.
But this one,
Not that it was any of my business. Yeah.
No.
you have to. She has to do the best friend bud test, because the thing is that this girl has to be very special, because she has to never come between you two, because you two have to be together forever. You guys have been on this mission. I'm going to give you a quick past life reading about Joe and Scott before I do Scott. You guys have been on this mission for a long, long time. All right. You've been brothers in many, many lives. There was one point that Scott was Joe's father. There was there's one particular life where you both were in tunnels. And this was another life other than Joe. So Joe, you've had a few lives in tunnels. There was one life in particular where, okay, I'm going to get emotional, but I got to say this. Scott, you were brothers and you were older, and you sacrificed, and you sacrificed yourself for your younger brother. In other words, they were going to pick someone to sacrifice, and you said me, and you sacrificed yourself. You picked me for Joe.
That he said,
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cry, but
no,
he
That
did.
kind of resonates. Yeah. Wow.
Does that resonate?
he's told me many times. He's like, I would die for.
He has.
Oh, your brother's from another mother.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, Joe, don't feel bad because there's been many times. There was one life I'm getting back. It's some Spanish war. I see you on a horse, and I see someone going at Scott, and you beheaded him. You took so you. It's very reciprocal. You've gone through many lives, and you've always saved each other.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
Sounds about right.
yeah. So the I think I speak for everyone. The bond and the relationship between you two men, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's very rare. You two are brothers. So you're gonna be together like brothers forever. All right, brothers forever. And this woman is very special because she's going to understand this relationship and she's never ever going to come between it. And I feel it does need to be a special woman because I feel, but there have been women, correct me on the one, that do get jealous of your relationship
It's happened before, yeah.
because it's very special and rare. So the love's going to come, Joe. I feel she's going to be a musician like us. And you're just going to meet her. Okay. So anyways,
Awesome.
Oh, that was cute.
does that past life resonate with you guys?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's told me, he's like, and we hadn't discussed any of this before, but he said it before. He's like, you know, I would die for you, and it makes sense because he said that, and I didn't really grasp it at the time, but that is the bond that we have. Like we fight like brothers, and I do everything I can to make sure I have a lot more support in my life than he does, just because my family's around, but I do whatever I can to make sure he is as set up as I can. So there's that. Absolutely.
Well, I think we have to understand that. And I think we've learned this in our personal lives that just because people are born like they're born to us through DNA and we're related to them by blood doesn't necessarily mean they're our true family. I know in my profession that we're born in clusters when God, creator, source, whatever you want to call our ultimate creator, I call him God. I'm sorry, I call it a he because I was brought up Catholic. Sorry. Not that I'm practicing, but it's just ingrained in me. But we are created when God creates all of us. He creates us in groups like soul clusters. And so we're a big soul family and we reincarnate together. And I can honestly say that everyone on the screen and most of the people in the chat, we've all been around the block together. It's just
Yeah.
just like
I
regular
believe
family.
that.
Like some people would like we're related close. Like some of us are immediate family, and then some of us are like second cousins. But we're all part of this. So you and Joe and Scott, you really are soul family. You really are brothers. It doesn't matter that you didn't come from the same mama in this life. You really are that. And you're powerful together.
No, it's funny because there was one moment where I asked Joe, and we were very much at odds, and I just said, "Is there anyone in your life that cares more about you than I do?" And I mean, you know, we're a couple of straight dudes. It's a friendship, but you know, and he really considered it. He really thought about it. And he said no. We still fight like hell, though. We just got in a fight yesterday.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No, but
You
that was
have to
because
fight.
a lot of weird pressures lately, and sometimes we just take it out on each other the wrong way. But we get that wasn't even worth barely mentioning because we've been through such that's so worse than that. We're like, we're moving on from that.
Isn't that what brothers do? Family does.
Yeah.
We fight.
Yep.
And then you're okay, right?
I don't have
That's
any
the way it
brothers.
is.
I have a sister, and she's a huge pain in my ass. But great gal, but just I don't know.
Yeah, I have 3 sisters, so I feel that.
Wow.
You have 3 sisters.
I do, and I'm not
Awesome.
close with any of them.
No.
Wow.
Oh shit.
I mean, my oldest sister's there's kind of an age gap. My oldest sister's 10 years older than me, then 7 years older than me, and then 4 years older. I was an oops baby. Oops.
I feel like You need to ask
Yeah.
your dad if they found you, like, like you hatched out of a asteroid or something.
Except I look exactly like my
And-
dad.
Yeah, and they couldn't let anyone know, and he was always surprised that you looked like him.
Yeah.
They never told anyone, and they drove
I
home in
feel
their
like that.
1954
I
station
definitely
wagon,
feel it. Yeah.
just with this
I
little
think we
baby.
all
the
probably
asteroid.
resonate with being the black sheep of the family, I'm sure.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. My whole family's black sheep. There's not a white sheep among us.
Oh, before I get to Scott's freedom, Marin, I do want to tell you, I'm the baby of my family too. And when you're the baby, no one ever fucking listens to you.
Oh, I know.
You know,
You get it.
I hate it. I
I'm
hate
like,
it.
that's why
You
I
know,
get online and scream. I'm like, somebody has to hear me.
you think because you're the youngest, you're the dumbest, and actually we're the most wisest. We're the wisest
Yeah.
now.
I know.
Yep.
It's just I always say it's such irony that I feel like I'm the oldest soul, but I'm the youngest in the family.
Right.
Me too. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
And
I know. That's why me and you get each other, because we have that same feeling of not being seen or heard our whole lives.
Right.
Well, Marin,
exactly.
you're just such an obviously old soul. I mean, I thought you were much younger than you are because you look so young, but at the same time, it was just like, God, the insight, the wisdom,
Right.
and
I'm
just
just a
that
grumpy old man on the inside.
you're a punk rock old man, like Gen X, like pissed off,
Yeah.
but and burdened by, a lot of spiritual downloads.
I just pictured a shirt I could see Marin wearing. Black Sheeps Matter.
I love it.
I think I've seen that.
That's not
that's actually
bad.
a shirt. That's
You need to capitalize that.
Is
You
it
need
a
to
shirt?
make some shirts. You should make
if
some
that's
shirts.
not already a shirt, you need to patent that.
You
All right.
do. That's epic.
Let's
Yes.
Black
There it is.
Sheeps Matter.
Black
Okay.
Sheeps Matter. I love it.
That's nobody better use that. If anyone steals that idea, Lady D's gonna find them and kick their ass. That's Joe's idea.
Wow, we already have people wanting the shirt. Okay, TruthStream.
All
Black
right.
Sheeps Matter. Okay, that'll be one
Okay.
of our first shirts.
Yeah,
Okay.
you need to
All right,
like
you gotta
merch.
do it.
It's trademarked.
Well, Marin, will you license your image?
Oh my God, people are already.
All right, we'll do
Someone's
it.
already hashtagging it,
can't-
Chrissy.
This is
Trademark
why
it
I
now.
love. This is why I love like interacting with people, because there's things that come up like when you're part of an improv troupe or an acting. I've done theater.
Stealing it just for me.
There's things
Stealing
that
it just for me.
happen. Yeah, there's things that happen that you don't think of yourself. This is the beauty of working with others. Things happen like that. So, oh my God.
So beautiful. That's beautiful. You got to do it. All right, Scott's up. So, Scott, do you want a general reading, my love, or do you want to just do you want a specific topic?
You know what? You just go with it
Okay, I'm gonna wet my whistle and we'll just go with it.
entirely.
Put on that lovely
I do
lipstick.
the same, but I left my lip gloss in the car. So
Oh, you don't need it. Don't need lipstick, my dear. You look fabulous. Here we go. Holy God, in the name of Yeshua, can I get a general reading for Scott? What is in store for Scott in his near future? Anything and everything will be very to understand. God in you. Oh, I always forget. Please like, share, and subscribe. I never do that. I think I should say that a couple of times. Oh my God, these keep on getting more epic and epic and epic. Wow. Wow.
cars are on fire.
Well. Okay. So for you, Scott, I feel like your success has been on hold too. You've kind of been held in this kind of pattern.
yeah.
For sure.
Okay. But I'm getting that God held you in this pattern because he needed for you to store your energy and to kind of, yeah, you're in a holding pattern because I'm getting to store your energy. And I'm also getting to that you did a lot of you've had a lot of spiritual awakenings and a lot of your divine gifts this past year, and especially the past 6 months have come online. But I'm getting that too. You're going to be doing so many things. Okay, for you, TruthStream is going to go off the charts, but I'm also getting to that you're going to be doing a double, you're going to be doing a lot of, okay, how do I put this? You're going to have your hands in a lot of baskets. Believe it or not, Scott, I see you doing healing with people, but your healing is more so with your voice and resonance. I'm getting that you're speaking and you're healing people. I see you on stage talking with people and healing people with your voice and your words. But I also feel too that you're going to be doing healing. There's something you're going to be healing people. Believe it or not, Scott, you're going to be healing people. And and believe it or not, this is how you're going to heal people, just by going up and talking to them and touching them and just holding their hand. You are a conduit. Does this make sense to you?
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, you're a conduit. You get earth grid energy. You are an open channel to earth grid energy. So you just by being in a room, being in a presence, speaking just your presence, your voice resonating, you raise the vibration. You are a conduit. So you don't have to learn Reiki. You don't have to go and take courses. Just by being on screen with you, being looking in your eye, and just something about touching you. When you touch people's hand, you heal people. You're an absolute conduit. Okay. And I'm getting that the more you go out in nature like you're doing, your these gifts are gonna go off the charts. So the way source is telling me, start small. Just if you feel somebody is not doing well or feeling ill, just go to them. And I'm getting that this is not something that's going to be taught. You have to go with your gut, just like me. That's like go with your gut. How you heal people, just go with your instincts, because I'm getting that this is something you've been doing for centuries. And what's going to happen is that it's like it's inbred in you, it's born in you, and it's just going to naturally come out. It's not something that's going to be taught. You're just going to be face to face with somebody, and you're going to intuitively know what to say, what to do, and how to touch them, and you're going to heal them, and that's it. And also, I'm getting you got the world card, so that means that you are leveling up in all areas of your life. um Money, success, everything. And I do think that you're going to be doing so many different things because you have so many divine gifts. um and again, it's like you've been in this holding pattern, but you've been learning, you've been honing your skills. And I'm getting that the reason why you've also been in a holding pattern is when you sleep at night, you've been doing a lot of work and you haven't been able to branch out because the work you've been doing at night has been very, very necessary and needed, and you didn't have the energy to do both. Okay. But you're going to be, the work at night is done, and now all that energy work you're going to bring back into the forefront into the day. And you're going to be using it in your conscious life. Okay. Now, I, I got the magician, you got the magician card. So you have the ability to manifest everything, anything you want. So if you want it, speak it into your existence because you have big time manifestation power. And I'm also getting to that in a past life, you were a alchemist. You were an alchemist and you worked with potions and you still have that ability. But you don't need the potions this life. You harness nature. You harness nature. So when you go out with the force around nature, you harness that power. So when you're out in nature, speak what you want into existence. Speak it as if it is, and that's how you manifest. Okay? Because you got the last card was the Six of Swords. That means that all the bullshit, all the dark times, all the struggles you've been through is bringing you to this point. It's clear skies ahead, better times ahead. You went through your rite of passage, and now you are owning it, and you are on. I'm telling you, epic fucking reading. You are where you're supposed to be. You are exactly who you're with. This is your time to shine. So only thing I'm getting is that don't doubt it. I don't think you ever had because you're pretty self-assured. But in terms of all your psychic and metaphysical gifts, don't doubt that. I'm getting that you don't need to be taught. It's just if you feel it, do it, because I'm getting that all of your psychic gifts from past lives are coming online now, and it's just need to be felt. If you feel it, do it because you don't need to be taught. How does that resonate with you?
Well, it's great because this is why my little plasma jellyfish keep showing up. I've been on hikes and these orbs, they show up and it's pretty. I've got photographs. I mean, Joe knows. Um, they're very responsive to me. But when you mentioned the early part, it reminded me of a time I was at a bar. I mean, this happens a lot, but I mean, I don't want to say a lot, but often enough. But I was walking past this complete stranger, and I looked over at her. She looked up at me, and I just put my hand on her hand, and and I just knew everything about her, and I just told her exactly what she needed to hear, and it was like this
Wow.
huge, total stranger, and yeah, I don't know, it was pretty profound, but that kind of thing shows up an awful lot. So I don't know, this whole thing resonates
Absolutely.
beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the grid work? I mean, the stuff at night. Do you feel like you've been doing work at night?
Yes, actually, I work with some people, and we're out all the time, and they knew me before I knew them because they were used to working with me, and they see me all the time out there.
Is the grid the thing I'm working on in my Tron suit?
You're out there too. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Joe's got a very interesting outfit that he wears when he's out in the.
It's I think blues and turquoise and
It's like a Tron suit. It's very very theatrical. Mine is just like old beaten armor. Apparently, it's been described to me. But yeah, I'm out there all the time, and I mean, some days I wake up exhausted, and I'll have people in that group let me know just what I was doing the night before. I don't know. I mean, I'm not conscious of it, and that's kind of. I mean, I've been out there where I am conscious of it, but I would prefer it goes on without me knowing because it's pretty just it's all consuming.
right.
Yeah.
No, I want to
Yeah.
ask is Ro the giving soul, is she still up in the Northwest? Because it'd be cool because we're gonna do another in-person event. It'd be cool to know that there's people that are watching this that would want to join us at a live event, and maybe I'll wear my Tron suit.
Hey, someone just said that the pink eclipse, the pink moon makes me think of Nick Drake. I love that
Oh,
song.
right.
We got to listen to
Oh,
that tonight. But that it passed tonight, so it's not dark yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if we get to experience that, but I know this full moon is a big deal. I
it
know
is. It is.
Marin
It is. It's
has been doing all kinds of stuff in preparation for it, right, Marin?
It's a full moon in Libra, right, Delphine? I think.
I
know
don't
it's a
I
pink. It's a pink
I know
moon.
it's a
It doesn't
pink moon.
actually show up pink, but I know that I was watching something earlier today. I know that it's supposed to be really good for Pisces, so I sent it to you earlier on Instagram. I don't know if you
Yes,
saw it.
that's right. It's
Yeah.
really good for me. It's all I don't know about the sign. It's all about clearing out the old and beginning the new. So there's a lot of power tonight. So everyone use this full moon to manifest, like manifesting Marin and getting out. Like right now, the full moon energy is all about getting rid of all the old, clearing out the new, and bringing in the new. So this is a pretty powerful moon,
I
Yes,
folks.
feel it
that's why I
in my
put
loins.
this on the TV.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. This is awesome. Well, folks, we've been going on for 3 hours.
No, this
I could
show's
go on for
incredible.
5, but
I know.
No, this is a good point to wrap it up. This has just been incredible and
hasn't it?
for Marin to join us. It's such a treat. We love Marin. It's just great that she.
I love all of you guys. Thanks for having me on. It was fun. I need to come back on the screen. I
You're
keep saying
welcome.
that, but I really need to.
You're welcome on our show anytime. And I know we were about to do that, and then you were using your refrigerator as a canoe the next day.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
maybe
know.
now that we're settled, we'd love to have you on anytime.
And likewise, I would love to have all of you guys on my channel as well. I don't think I've ever really had anybody on my show. I think I had Alexander Quinn on like 3 years ago, but that's the last time I've had anyone on my show. So yes, you're all invited on my show as well. Absolutely.
Let's
Oh,
do it.
10 out of 10. So yes, let's make this, let's like go on each other's channels and so we can hang out and party all the time. I know that we need to do this once a month here on my channel. We're gonna go on Joe and Scott's channel. We'll go on Marin's. We'll just you'll be sick of seeing the three of us, but who gives a shit?
Yes, I
So,
love it. I love you guys.
I feel like you're the family member I just discovered that I didn't know I had, or whatever. I mean,
Oh,
Vice
I know. I
versa.
was so
Vice
excited
versa.
when you three were gonna do a collab together. I was like, I just know they're gonna get along. I knew it. I knew it.
oh yeah.
Oh my God. Beautiful. I honestly have to say that this is my funnest show yet. And I, honest to God, and I've been doing this for 3 years. I love you guys. I love Marin. This is phenomenal. You guys are my lost soul brothers, and Marin's my long lost soul sister. So,
Yes.
before we go tonight, and I'm going to say, ladies first, Marin, what are your last parting words tonight? What do you want to let the soul tribe know? What words of encouragement before you go tonight?
Well, I think that it is now the real new year, now that we're in spring. I think that, like I'm telling myself, it's time for all of us. I feel like so many of us are getting this pull to kind of finally like step into what we really truly came here to do. Like since 2020, we've all kind of got a little bit derailed, and for good reason. The truth needed to be told, it needed to be out there. But I feel like so many of us want to step back into our like true passions, which is telling the truth, speaking our truth. I'm not saying like don't do that, but I feel like now is the time to really, break out of the cocoon. And to everybody watching too, if you have a passion, start doing it, because life is short. We don't know how long we're going to be here. And 2020, I've had a feeling about 2025 since 2019. I've just had this feeling about it. I don't know why. I just knew it was going to be epic, like not just for me, but worldwide. And I personally believe spring is the new year. We're in it now. And I think everyone just needs to, exit the matrix and just do what you're passionate about. Do what you love, because that's literally why we came here.
What's your birthday? Someone's requesting your birthday.
My birthday's in a week, April 18th.
Ooh, I'm putting that on the calendar.
Yeah, Aries, baby.
Yeah.
All right, you're on my calendar.
I was gonna tell you, I know we talked about next Saturday. I remember I told you I was gonna be in Pensacola for a week. So I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I might be able to, but I'm gonna go see my dad for a week. So we might have to reschedule that, but I could, or else I could just like go in the car and film too. We'll see.
I love
no worries, honey. We play it by ear. No pressure. If you can't do it next week, we'll do it the week after. All good.
Okay.
So I'm so happy to have you here, Marin. I'm so happy that you're going to be on screen more. This is awesome. Like I said, I've been on screen for 2.5 years, and I've been backstabbed by so many bitchy, nasty women. It's so good to have beautiful women that aren't catty and nasty. And I think finally I've weeded out the bitches, and now I've got my true soul sister. So I love it.
I know. I never understood that about women. That's why, like, I literally don't hang out with anybody.
Yeah, I'm a hermit.
Yes. And I feel like this year, I don't know, I feel, it is a Jubilee year. So hopefully one day we're all hanging out, partying in the streets, celebrating together.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So my new soul brothers, my long lost, who wants to go first with last words of wisdom?
Oh, I'm going first. Okay. Well, I just thank everyone for being here. It's so cool to do these shows. We never know where they're going to go, and to be in the presence of all these. I mean, the chat's been absolutely amazing.
Love you guys. Yep.
Yeah, the camaraderie. It's just so many great things are coming, and so many great things are actually happening, like this chat, for example, tonight. So I'm kind of beside myself with everything from the reading to the energy in the room. And yeah, there's been a lot of ups and downs in life, but it's all worth it, because it helps us really, really appreciate the things that are coming without going to the depths of the despair. We don't appreciate the beauty of the heights that we're going to. So I'm in a very grateful, appreciative space, and there's so much love here. So thank you guys. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I think probably the most important thing is something I said a long time ago, and I keep saying it, but when you look at other people, really try and see the God in them. You know, we're all one. Really try and see the God in them, and it will relieve so much of your frustration, because the time for fighting is over in that regard. It's the medicine we all need. We're in a bifurcation. You know, it's going to get weirder and weirder, and it already has. We haven't agreed on reality for a while. It's getting more extreme now, where we're not even making sense, and pretty soon we won't even be visible. I'm pretty sure that's what's in store for us. But you know, it's not the time to wake people up. That time has passed. If they're going to wake up, they'll do it. They'll do it on their own. We're really, really close to something huge, and just, you know, don't feel any sorrow or pity for anyone that, you know, isn't going in the same direction, because it's what their soul needs. There's a greater wisdom at work here, and you know, we don't need to judge it. We need to allow it. But yeah, just see the God in everybody.
Beautifully
And,
said.
yeah,
You know, that's a mic drop. That's a mic drop. I can't top that. That's a mic drop.
Yeah.
I can't thank you all enough for being here tonight. The chat has been absolutely so phenomenal. Not and just like your people from Rumble too, the TruthStream team from Rumble. I just love the blending of our communities. I feel so much love, and I'm so honored and so thankful that you're all a part of my life. And I'm so happy to be doing this with you all and be a part of this. We all have epic, phenomenal journeys together. We're all going to be together, and we have such wonderful lives, and we are just beginning this journey. And God, I can't even tell you, the amount of love and the amount of success and the amount of awesomeness that we all have in store, not just the people on the screen, but the people that are watching.
Right.
We are going to take back this world, and we are
Yeah.
going to embrace our true divine nature. So that's what we have to keep on. And I love that Scott said, see the God in all of everyone, because it's true. These meat suits are nothing. We are multidimensional light beings having human experiences. And what we truly are, we are divine beings. We are souls. So we have to stop looking at these meat suits and get beyond the personalities and see the God, the divine within each other. Absolutely.
Well, thanks for
Amen.
showing up. We've been waiting for you. You're family. It's like, finally.
Yeah, jump through the screen. Give us a hug.
You're late, but it's okay.
Sorry,
I love
better
it.
late than never. Better late than never.
That's right. That's right. No,
Okay.
seriously, we want to do an event around the Sarasota area in October, and we're going to manifest that, especially with a name like Manifesting Marin. Like, how do we not?
Yeah,
Yep.
we're just sending it over to you.
Yes, I'm in.
Yep.
I'm in. I didn't get to go on the Truth
Absolutely.
Tour last time, but yes, I want to go for sure.
Beautiful.
For
That
sure.
would be so fun.
Sure.
We're all in. We're going to make it happen.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, folks. It's been an epic night. Thank you all. And until next time, just remember, as Scott said, see the God in everyone. See you later, folks. God bless
Love you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.